Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to the Sideline Speaks with myself, Brittany Jones, alongside Jason Collins and Kevin Walker. What's going on, Kate Walker and Jay?
All is well. All is well. Looking forward to another great one.
Yeah, everything's good, Britt. Looking forward to a great show. We got some good stuff to get into tonight, so it should be fun.
Absolutely. We got a lot going on. I got another surprise video of you
Oh
guys.
no.
Oh,
No, I'm just playing. I'm playing.
I was
Messing with you.
about to
I'm
say,
messing
man.
with you guys. So you guys not sure what video I put up. That's why they got, oh no. They had high school videos from last week. If you didn't watch it last week from when they won a championship, I put it up as two clips. They give me permission. I'll put it up as two shorts, but so you guys can see it later. But we'll talk about that later.
oh man. Oh man.
But you guys ready to talk some sports?
Let's
Let's
do it.
do it.
It is so much going on right now, and we got to start it off with the hot topic of the season, year so far, however long it's been, and that's the WNBA. As we know, two rookies just hit two historic marks. Caitlin Clark got the triple double in her victory against the Liberty. I believe the stat was 19, 13, and 12. So 19 points, 13 assists, 12 rebounds. And then Angel Reese the very next day, if this is not a back and forth thing, I don't know what is. The very next day ended up surpassing Candace Parker for the longest, streak in double doubles with now 13 and still counting. Before we get started, because it was also announced that Angel Reese has been the first rookie player of the month. So not rookie player of the player of the week, not player of the week, but she's the WNBA player of the week in the Eastern Conference amongst anybody that could have been chosen. I know this was not on the on one of our topic lists, but I just have to know, with this rookie race being so daggone tight, has the news that recently came out yesterday and today, a couple of days ago, has it changed who is in first place right now for you? Jay, if you want to take over.
Man, that's a good question, Britt, because honestly, like who I've had in first place has changed for me, almost from day to day. Like when Reese has a great performance, I'm like, okay, maybe it's Reese's to lose. And then when Caitlin comes back and has a great performance, all right, I'm like, no, okay, I feel like it's Caitlin. So for me, it has kind of gone back and forth based on how they play. I do think, Reese winning the what was it, the player of the week, the or the player of the week,
Player of the
right?
week. Yep.
Player of the
Mm-hmm.
week. That's something a rookie has never done, as far as I know. So I do think that sort of gives her a one up. Now, the question and what we can all anticipate is, does Caitlin come back and do that at some point throughout the season? I think for me right now, Britt, I'm gonna try to stay consistent.
Mm-hmm.
I still think Clark has the slight edge in the rookie race, but it's super close. And every time Angel notches another double double or adds another accolade or breaks another record, it gets harder and harder for me to hold that position. But I think right now I'm still going to give the slightest of edges to Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, Jay. I kept going back and forth because I think when Caitlin Clark got that triple double and then she got the victory, that was the biggest key to me. You got
Yeah.
to get the win, right? I was like, maybe I need to put Caitlin Clark back in front, because I kept going back and forth. This race is so tight. But then Angel Reese got that. I'm sorry, Caitlin Clark got the triple double. Then Angel Reese got the double double, 13 consecutive double doubles, and still counting. And then
Yeah.
she ended up winning Player of the Week. And I understand she got that 13 consecutive double in the loss, but her play was, to me, very, very great.
Yeah.
She played very well, I should say. Is there some things that she needs to work on? Absolutely. But I think what breaks it for me and why I have Angel Reese just a slight ahead of Caitlin Clark, not by much, because I promise you I might change my mind soon.
Yeah.
Um, it's the defense. I'm big on defense. You guys know that I'm big on defense. We both know what they're capable of doing on the offensive side of the ball. Caitlin Clark is more of the playmaker, the shooter. Um, Angel Reese is more of in the post. She does the dirty work, which is very hard to do. But I just love the fact that Angel Reese is kind of like a coach as a rookie on the court. When I watch her, she's talking to her players. No, you got to go here, over there, over there. To me, that's just like, that's incredible. And then, like I just said, I'm big on defense. Angel Reese's defense is far and above better than Caitlin Clark's defense. Caitlin Clark is improving a little bit in that area. And granted, they might have just more of a defensive-minded coach in Teaspoon. We know how tough she was when she played, so she takes her defense serious. But that's what's putting me on the edge right now. But again, it can change. So, Jay, I'm with you. I'm going to be consistent in my answer as well. Because I said Angel Reese. I think I changed Caitlin Clark once, and now I'm
Yeah.
back to Angel Reese. But what's your thoughts on this?
I mean, yeah, I have to agree with you guys here. I mean, when we talk about the key word is consistency, you guys talk about consistency as far as staying with the the person that you picked or the rookie that you picked. I'm going to say you got to give it to Angel Reese because she has been the most consistent with the double doubles. I think that that's a notch in her belt, and I think she's going to wind up getting another one. I think they play tomorrow night. I mean, tomorrow afternoon,
Yeah.
if I'm correct. So we're going to see that, and I think she continues it because it looks so easy for her. I think she just wakes up, and I think when she wakes up in the morning, ladies and gentlemen, and you just put her in the book for at least 10 and 10, at least 10 and 10. I'm booking her for 10 and 10 every single time. Caitlin Clark done to take away a triple double. That's first time done in NBA history, WNBA history, excuse me. So you can't take anything away from that by any stretch of the imagination. But we don't see, and we do see the 15, the 6 and 6 or 16, 5 and 5 from Caitlin Clark. You can say she's consistent from that standpoint. But double doubles, 13 consecutive, never been done in the history of WNBA by a rookie or any other player for that matter. I mean, that speaks volumes. And a rookie comes in and gets player of the week award. I mean, that just speaks volumes as well. And you guys mentioned all the accolades and the intangibles that that she possesses as well. I think right now she has that front. She has the lead right now by a nail, by an eyelash. I don't know what do you want to call this, but she's right there. But it's a close one. But I think you got to give it to Angel Reese right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Go ahead, Jay.
that's a good point. I think too, some of it comes down to like, what do you value, right? Like the double double, it's a great stat, right? And I guess it just comes down to like, what do you value? Like, is getting 10 rebounds in a game something that you place high value on, right? Or is getting 7 assists in your mind more valuable than having 10 rebounds? Like, so I think, I don't know, K-Walk, obviously we played high school together, basketball as well as football. And I think maybe as a guard, I might just value the scoring, the assisting, maybe more than I value rebounding. I'm not saying that either one is more important than the other, but because they play two completely different positions, they're asked to do two completely different roles for their team. So I think some of it might just be what you value. But again, like for Reese to do 13 straight, like you said, it's never been done. Not a rookie, not any. No one has put 13.
Never been done.
So that speaks to her consistency night in and night out, saying, hey, you can go ahead and book it. I'm getting a double-double. So it's very impressive.
I think, Jay, that's why for me, because you hit it right on the nose, they play two different positions.
Yeah.
So they're on offense. So they have two different roles that they have to partake in on their offensive team. But they both scored basketball. They both do what they're supposed to do on the offensive side of the ball in their roles. That's why for me, I had to give Angel Reese just a slight edge because of the defense. I've seen Caitlin Clark get a little confused. I've seen Caitlin Clark get crossed over. I've seen like her point of attack defense or her one-on-one defense is not the best. Angel Reese, at one point, she was doing her thing in steals. I think one game she got like 4 steals or something crazy like that. So she was, and I might need to check myself. It might have been like 3. So I might have to check myself on that. But I think that's why I gave that edge to Angel Reese, was because of the defensive side of the ball. Because offense, I feel like they're both doing their thing. Yes, Caitlin Clark looks more exciting, looks more splashier because Angel Reese is down post. She's doing more of the dirty work, but both matter just in a different way. Both contribute to the success of their team. And I think that's what people have to understand. They're both important in what they're doing.
Yeah.
But what separates it for me is going to be that defensive side.
Yeah, it looks like some of the commenters agree with you guys as well. about what's going on. Tony was saying how he feels like this could be a repeat of what happened with Melo and LeBron, whereas a lot of people felt like Melo deserved the award, but LeBron got it. Maybe based on some of the attention, some of the hype, and some of that stuff. He also said, "I'm drinking on the job," so he gonna love my take there about Card. So good
Tony,
stuff
have
there,
one for
Tony.
me,
Yeah,
please.
good
Have one for me. And then one more Jay, and that's Greg. Hey, Greg. It says, I think it just depends on how much impact one brings to the team. I give the edge to Angel.
Yeah,
So
it's
there we go.
interesting. I really think it's perspective. I think, and Britt, I think your point about the defense is 100% right. I mean, I think Caitlin has struggled staying in front of some of the quick and just twitchy guards that are in the W. I think she's had a difficult time staying in front of them. But I think offensively, she kind of facilitates their whole offense. So to me, even though I mean, I think they're close in points. I think Caitlin's averaging a few more points than Angel is. I think the sort of the burden of what she has to do on offense versus what Angel has to do on offense, for me, gives her the slight edge. But again, it's close.
Yeah, and I heard a lot of people say that, well, Angel doesn't see double teams. Caitlin sees double teams. They're game planning for Caitlin Clark. Have you ever played in the post? If you never played in the post, it is hard to play down there because the defense just collapses on you. Once that ball goes up, you got like the fact that she's leading the WNBA in offensive rebounds outside of her own. If you take away her own shots and her own getting rebounds off of her own shots, if you take that away, she's still leading the WNBA in offensive rebound. That is a very hard job to do.
Yeah.
And I need people to understand that. But both are super incredible players.
Yeah, there was one more good comment, Britt, here about the turnovers, because I do think that is an issue. I think Caitlin is leading the league in turnovers right now. So will that work against her? Like when they're splitting hairs trying to decide who the rookie of the year is. I mean, that's definitely a fair point. That's something she's going to have to clean up in the second half of the season.
Absolutely. I think that's a big thing. But it felt like she was kind of getting better with the turnovers. So I don't know how. I haven't really been paying attention to the turnover aspect of it. I need to get back into looking at that. But yeah, that is to me a big thing that she's really gonna have to work on, is really taking care of the ball. Because that's an extra offensive possession that's getting taken away if you constantly turning the ball over. And that impacts your minus rating. Go ahead, JK.
Yeah, I don't really think you can fault her for that because she handles the ball so much, and at the time that she handles the ball, she's going to turn the ball over. I mean, just like, as much as she handles the ball, she's going to give you the assist. As much as she handles the ball, I don't know what her turnover to assist.
I think she's averaging like 4 or 5 a game. I think she was averaging a lot more early. She's cut it down some, but still somewhere around 4 or so a game, I think.
Yeah, so I think that, when anybody who handles the ball as much as she does, you're going to see that, and especially a rookie as well. And you mentioned it as well, Britt, is that she commands a lot of double teams. She commands a lot of attention. So you got to factor that in there. I mean, obviously, it's a number that it's going to count no matter what, no matter what position she is, no matter how many times she handles the ball, no matter how many double teams she sees, it still counts against her. But I think at the same time, you have to look at it from that standpoint that she's just not running down there just throwing it away. It's just not being consistent, because if you look at her numbers, 15, 6, and 6, I believe that's her number is, or as far as assists and assists go, I think she's averaging almost 7 assists. That says a lot, that really does. Right. And I think that's something that she can definitely and will clean up without question.
Yeah, you definitely got to clean it up. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that she's a rookie, but at the same time, you also a ball player. So, and the number one rule in basketball, you got to take care of it. You got to take care of the basketball. You got to make decisions while you're on the court. Same thing with football. The quarterback, do we say, oh, he's a rookie, he got 25 interceptions for the year? I'm just throwing numbers out there. Okay, let me make it more reasonable. 17 interceptions that year. Your number one job as a quarterback, though, is to take care of the football. So I understand that she's a rookie. I understand, and I'm glad that she's improving on that, but that's still going to impact you That's still something that goes against you, regardless if you're a rookie or if you're a 20-year rookie. You
Yeah,
have
and
to
this is what I'm talking about.
take
It is
care of the
when you look.
basketball.
Yeah, and this is what I'm talking about. When you look at those turnovers, you can't. It's going to count against her, but they're not all on her, if you will. Like you mentioned, a quarterback.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks can get the ball tipped at the line, and it's picked off. Or a receiver can drop the ball, hit it off his hands, and it's picked off. It still counts as an interception. I get that, but you have to look at it from that standpoint. You really have to break down, the turnovers that she has. I mean, how is she turning the ball over? Is it a mistake by her post guy or post player? She got him in the perfect spot, but they missed the ball or they dropped the ball or whatever the case may be. So you got to look at it from that standpoint. I know it still counts against them, but I don't think it should count against her as much, because I don't think she's just going, like I said, just going down there and just handing it right back to the opposition.
Well, okay, well, all I'm know, and I do understand. I actually agree with that position. But all I know is when we talk about Jalen Hurts and all them interceptions he had, I'm gonna use that same thing. I'm just saying. All right, let's go.
All right, well, you gotta provide the facts though. You gotta provide to have it back
it
up
is
though.
Facts. It is
No, I'm
facts.
saying we gotta
Well,
see
some
that.
of those
Like, what
turnovers
kind
that
of,
he got when them players was bouncing off of their hands and stuff like that. So, but all right, guys, let's because I still want to stick on the WNBA topic because K-Walk, me and you would go crazy with football. It's crazy with all the accolades, the awards, this Rookie of the Year race that's between the two main players that we're well aware of, which is Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Are these two your favorite players in the entire class, this WNBA class? Who is your favorite player in this WNBA class? So meaning, and I know we touched a little bit on it a few weeks ago. I guess I just want to dive a little bit more deep. Who do you think will have the best overall talent in this WNBA class? It could be Caitlin Clark. It could be Camila Cordosa. It could be Cameron Brink, so forth. Who is your player out of this class? K-Walk, I'm going to start with you.
Oh, you changed it up on me a little bit there. You said favorite, and then you said who's going to be the most. I think you said the most talented, I believe that was the word you used. So my favorite was Cameron Brink. I just loved how she went about, even though she was a little
stick
foul
with
for a while,
favorite. Stick with favorite.
All right, yeah, I like Cameron Brink. I know she got hurt. She went down with the ACL injury, but I think she was doing big things. I love the way she played on defense. She was on the verge of making the Olympic the USA Olympic team as well. She's a shot blocker. She's a defensive minded person, and when she's aggressive as she is, she plays. She's going to be in foul trouble. We saw that in her days in college, but she kind of tapered that off a little bit. Once she got to the to pros. In the beginning, she was creating those fouls, but I think she started to get acclimated to the game, and then as well as rebounding and playing defense as well. I think she was one of the top shot blockers in the league before she went out as well. So Cameron Brink was my favorite, but you said we can go with two. I believe that's what the topic said in Dark Thread. So I'm going my second player. I'm going to go with Angel Reese. I got to go with Angel Reese. Just look, everything we talked about. I'm not going to, pile on, but just, I'm going to Cameron Brink for everything I mentioned and Angel Reese for everything that we mentioned.
Yeah, I like Cameron Brink. It's just unfortunate that she got hurt. I think she got hurt. She was just starting to get her groove on a little bit, and basketball groove, guys. Basketball groove.
We got you.
Let me clear that up a little bit. And then it was unfortunate that she went down because I'm with you, K-Walk. I think she's going to be a special player. She could basically do it all. And then at her height, she's going to be very tough to defend. But Jay, who's your favorite player in this year's draft?
Yeah, my personal favorite, Britt, is Cameron Brink's teammate, Rickea Jackson. I watched her a ton at Tennessee, and to me, I really felt like she was probably an underrated player entering the WNBA. I know Caitlin and Angel kind of get all the headlines, but Rickea Jackson has been quietly playing really, really well for the Los Angeles Sparks. And she can really do a little bit of everything. She can play in the post. She can shoot the three. She's got a great mid-range game. She's 6'2", 6'3", so she's got good height. Like Rickea has a really well-developed game. I think if they would feature her a little bit more, we'd see her pop out even more so that she's already been doing. but Rickea Jackson is my favorite player in the class. But I do also want to shout out, since we're doing two, I want to shout out Kate Martin. I mean, you guys know the Las Vegas Aces are my team, and Kate Martin, who was Caitlin Clark's teammate at Iowa, she has quietly made a nice little name for herself, just coming off the bench, giving them a couple threes a game and playing really good defense. So she's kind of been a surprise of the draft. So she's going to get that number 2 spot for me. But Rickea, hands down, she's my favorite in the class.
Yeah, and I got to give it
go.
Go ahead. I can't argue with Tony there with Elijah Edwards.
She's been a pleasant surprise. Yep.
Yeah, but I was going to say I lost my train of thought. Oh, okay. Martinez there. Kate Martin. Her teammates love her, man. She's outstanding. I don't know if you guys ever watched them on like Instagram and things of that nature. They absolutely love her. So I like her. I like that pick too. But Cameron Brink, I really like her because she gets Kawhi Leonard to talk. I don't know if you guys noticed that. She gets Kawhi Leonard to talk. So that's why I really like her. If you could do that, you guys
get Kawhi to talk. You're doing something
right. Yep. Facts, brother.
Guys, I don't know if I need to go because Jay, you just took my girl. Like, you took my girl. I've loved her in college. I loved her in the draft. I told you guys how much I love this girl, Rickea Jackson. Mel, if you hear me, sorry, it's not Cece. I know that's your boo. Mel from Man Down Sports, that's my guy. Rickea Jackson, she's a 3-level scorer. She plays defense. She's played tough. And her confidence is starting to come around. I think that's the biggest part about it. She had a slow start, and I was like, come on, because I felt like she could really play in this league. I feel like this is her league to really succeed at. And I think she could be the best overall player in this draft, to be honest with you. I actually think it's tight between her and Cameron Brink, believe it or not. But I got Rickea Jackson just up by here because I think she can handle the ball a lot better. I mean, she's smaller, but I've been a fan of Rickea Jackson for a long, long time. So we'll see, depending on how things go, to see if she could take me away from Maya Moore. I doubt it, but it's still too early in her career to determine that. But we'll see how that goes. Look at this nonsense. This God is. Sit down. Sit down, Man Down Sports, please.
Yeah, and somebody else Tony mentioned Camila Cardoso, who has quietly played well. I know Angel often takes a lot of the air out of the room for that team, but Cardoso has played, pretty well in her rookie season as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Any final thoughts on the WNBA and the rookies class?
I'm just waiting to see what they're going to do tomorrow. They both play tomorrow. I think they both play in the afternoon. So
12 o'clock.
Be fun to see what they do tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to that.
Guys, I think I need a break. I really think that this Olympics is coming at the right time because this rookie race is crazy. I'm glad that the WNBA is getting the publicity that it's getting about time. But boy, I feel like I'm sweating every 5 seconds. So, all right, guys, you ready to move on to the next topic? Yep. We got to switch gears. We got to talk about the NBA. Although the season is over, the off season has been out of its mind crazy. And over the weekend, it was just announced that there was a sign and trade where DeMar DeRozan was was signed to the Kings in a sign and trade with the Bulls. The Bulls got Chris Duarte, I believe, is that how you say his name, and 2 second-round picks. The Spurs got Harrison Barnes. They was also included in this trade. And then, of course, as we know, the Kings got the big guy, the main guy, and that's DeMar DeRozan. I just want to know your thoughts on the trade. And do you think DeMar can help the Kings contend? Is this just a playoff team, or are they turning into a contender? Jay, I'm going to start with you first.
I think it's a really good pickup for them, right? Because if you think about the Kings over the last few years, they've been a young, exciting team. I mean, a couple of years ago, we watched them kind of push the Warriors to a 7-game series. They're a fun team to watch. De'Aaron Fox, who's the Sabonis, the big guy in the middle, right? So I think DeRozan is definitely a nice piece to this team.
Mm-hmm.
Does it kind of get them over the hump? I'm not so sure it does that, Britt, just because as we've always talked about the competition in the West, and Denver's not going anywhere. We saw Dallas kind of take a step forward. We know Ant Edwards in Minnesota, they're going to keep getting better. So I just think the competition in the West is going to be so good that it makes Sacramento better, and they'll compete, but I don't really think it kind of gets them over the hump to take that next step.
K-Walk, what are your thoughts on DeMar DeRozan going to the Kings?
Yeah, I'm a little upset there because as a Miami Heat fan, I really thought that we was going to get him, but then you saw my little post the other day, but yeah, I'm happy that he went there because really we only play the Kings twice a year, so we in the regular season, so it really doesn't bother me at that point. But as far as from the Kings standpoint and what everything that transpired. Before I get to DeRozan, I really like the sneaky move that the Spurs did to get Harrison Barnes there. The Spurs are making some sneaky sneaky moves there, man, with Pop and Chris Paul and Wembyamba and now Harrison Barnes and along with the other pieces they have. So, watch out for the Spurs. We're going to be talking about them, as long as everyone can stay healthy. I know Chris Paul tends to get hurt here and there, but nonetheless, watch out for them. But as far as the Kings, I thought about it. I'm like wondering how is this going to work with him and Monk, because they seem like they're two totally different. Because Monk likes to get up and down the court. With DeRozan, he's more of a half court type player. But I think they'll be able to play well together. Jay, you mentioned Sabonis, one of my favorite players in the NBA. I don't think he gets enough love, in my personal opinion. But I think a lot of teams in the West got better, and I think this is one of the teams that did as well. Anytime you can add DeMar DeRozan, you're going to be better. But I like it. Does it put him over the top? Does it make him a contender? No, I just think this puts them in the mix. It just puts them in the mix. Doesn't make them a favorite or anything like that. I think they're definitely a playoff team. I think they're maybe around between 5 and 8, somewhere around there. I think they'll avoid the play-in game, if you will. So I think they'll be somewhere around maybe 6 and 8. I don't want to go that 4 or 5, but maybe anywhere between 6 and 8. I think you'll see them battling towards the end of the season. But I like the move though.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I like the move. I just don't think it's enough for them to contend. When you come to the likes of, Minnesota, it just doesn't. It's not a big needle mover, I guess you could say, or moves the needle for me per se. It's another scoring option. I love DeMar DeRozan's game. I like that old school type of game, that mid-range game that I feel like a lot of players just tend to forget about nowadays. I still think his defense is very suspect. But on the offensive side of the ball, I think he'll be fine. I'm with you guys. I think that 5 to 8 range may be good. Maybe drop it down a little bit to that 6 to 8 range play-in type of team. I think they need another move or two to really put them over the top. I heard that they were interested in maybe trying to trade for Lauri Markkanen, or I think it was another guy. I can't think of his name. They get a Lauri Markkanen, then maybe I can put them over the top, because I think that addition would be fantastic. I think he's an underrated player, which is very weird to me, and it's probably because of the market that he's located right now. But as big of a fan of DeMar DeRozan is, big of a fan that I am of his, I just don't think it's doing enough when it comes to the Western Conference. I think they're starting to get not quite the East, where the East has kind of got that 2-3 teams. I think the Western Conference is a little bit more open. I just don't know if they're there enough for me to put them above some of the other teams.
Hey, Britt, you keep mentioning defense. You said you're not a fan of his defense, but then you mentioned it earlier when we were talking WNBA. Britt, where is defense at? There is no defense in any league, man. Maybe more. We'll see more.
Right. WNBA. Yes, WNBA. I understand there's no defense.
So, there's no defense. So let's stop throwing at it. They play defense a little more. Hold up. Wait.
I don't
want to hear that anymore. I'm not talking WNBA. It's strictly NBA.
I was about to say there is defense in the WNBA. Don't knock our league now.
Strictly NBA. No, I was just saying you mentioned it earlier, so because I know you're big on defense, but no WNBA. No, that's not even a question. There's defense being played there, ladies and gentlemen. But the NBA, let's not talk about. Let's not say they play defense there. Look at who was the defensive player of the year last year in the NBA. Rudy Gobert, right?
Was,
And
he
what
shouldn't have
happened in
been
the
in my
playoffs?
mind.
Yeah, that whatever.
Yeah.
I don't even want to. Somebody's got to get the award, I guess. I mean, somebody's got to get the award. But yeah,
It could have
when
been
we
a
talk
lot of
about
other people that got the award, K-Walk, but
I
he's a
know,
big man
I
for
know.
some reason, and
My
he's
point
just
exactly.
a big old goofy rim protector, so that's why
My
they
point
gave it to
exactly.
him. But
My
Drew
point
Holiday
exactly.
was there. There were
No,
other players
I'm not
out there
arguing with you,
for the
Britt.
award.
I'm on your side. I'm
So
just simply saying when we talk about comparing
K-Walk, I
NBA
get what you're
players, let's not
saying.
do that anymore. That's not it.
I
No
get
one
what you're
plays
saying, but
defense.
there is some defense. Some players still do play defense in the NBA. Very, very little, very marginal.
All right,
So
so Rudy
very
Gobert is the
small
defensive
margin
player
of
of
it.
the year. I didn't. No one's playing defense in the
I can't
NBA.
determine who the voters vote for. I would never vote for Rudy Gobert. I think he won it 3-4
They put a name
times.
in the hat.
I would have never voted for him any of those years, to be honest with you. The year that Marcus Smart won it, he should have won it that year. Rudy Gobert should never win it because to me,
Right.
he stands, his goofy self just stands at the rim. Like I said earlier, he doesn't do
Right.
anything. He doesn't guard anybody.
I know. We've seen it in the playoffs, and they picked their
But you
defensive
still
player of
gotta
the year just like they picked the lottery picks.
K-Walk,
They put it in
although
put it in
there's
the
no
turn those
defense,
balls.
and I'm with you, K-Walk. I'm with you. Although the defense in the NBA is really non-existent, you still have to have some sort of there still has to be something.
Do you?
And when I watch
Do you
yes,
really?
you do. Yes, you do.
You should, but you don't have to. You don't have to.
Well, I mean, that's why the teams he's with never wins anything. That's who
Well,
won.
I'm not just talking about him. I'm not just.
Who won the championship?
Yeah, I get
Who
that.
won the
But that's because
championship? A team that plays defense, right? So there's still defense in the league.
Is there, or is this the fact of lack of scoring from the other team? I don't think.
But you're
I
talking.
didn't mean to start.
I was about to say you're talking to somebody who complains about the defense in the NBA 24/7. I understand that.
In the NBA. There's no defense.
But you got to be able to offer me something.
Just because you outscore a team doesn't mean you play defense. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it at that.
Outscored what team this year? The Bulls outscored the team?
No, you just mentioned the Boston Celtics playing defense, and I'm just simply saying, just because they outscored the Indiana, just because they outscored the Mavs, didn't make them a defensive team.
So Drew Holiday didn't shut down Kyrie.
Right.
Derek White
he played a little defense. He played a little defense.
That was a lot of defense. Yeah, that was a lot of defense in that finals.
But the fact of the matter is, we don't see consistency. All right. My point exactly.
I get what you're saying. I'm done. I understand what you're saying. It's an offensive minded league, but the Celtics play better defense than anybody else. It's one of the reasons why they won the championship. I don't think they're going to be able to outscore just anybody. They had to play defense, and they had good defense.
Okay, I'm done. I'm not arguing anymore. I'm done. You won.
All right, here we go. So Tony said Jaylen Brown play defense. K-Walk. Come on, big bro.
Okay. I didn't mean to start. I didn't mean to start a debate, bro. I didn't mean to start a debate. So I'm not even going to continue with it because we got other topics to deal with. So
that's all right. We got K-Sep. Our guy K-Sep. So he said, "That's right, K-Walk. Stand on business." So somebody got your back. So
appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you.
All right, let's move on because I will gladly go over my time. And although Jay, you like it's all right. Take as much time as you need. Before I get to the next topic, we're gonna stick with the NBA. I just want to ask those who are watching us, please subscribe to our podcast. Our YouTube channel it is our podcast, our YouTube channel at The Sideline Speaks. We're also on X at Sideline Speaks, and anywhere you can listen to your podcast. We greatly appreciate it. Like we're doing now, if you ask us a question, if you make a comment, we'll do our best to get to your question or comment live right on the show. And also try to hit that like button. That's very important. Hit that like button for me. I appreciate it. But I got to get to this next one. And this is a guy that some people like, some people don't like. And that's Paul George. As we know, he just signed as a free agent with the Philadelphia 76ers for a 4-year, $212 million deal. He got the max. But recently on his Podcast P, he said that he felt disrespected by the Los Angeles Clippers because during mid-season, they offered him a 2-year, $60 million deal. And all of a sudden, by the end of the season, I got to go through the whole thing, so bear with me. By the end of the season, they ended up offering the original offer that he wanted, or the original deal that he wanted, which was 3 years, $150, which would have matched Kawhi. But because of the initial offer, Paul George felt I'm not so sure about this. He wasn't real confident in staying. He decided that he wanted a no trade clause. The Clippers said absolutely not. He asked for a 4th year. The Clippers said hell no. So he said, you know what? Let me see what else is out there. I'm going to Philly for that my 4-year $212. I just really want to know what's your thoughts on this, and do you think Paul George was disrespected by the Clippers? K-Walk, I'm gonna come to you first.
No, I don't think he's disrespected by the Clippers. I think the Clippers are seeing what Paul George is about, and he's not about one ability that you must have, and that's availability. And I talked about this last week. You looked at his numbers, and he doesn't play. He doesn't play that many games a year due to injury. For whatever reason, he's not available. And why would you want to invest that much money if you know you're not going to get that much time from him? It's not something that they believe. It's something that has proven to be. Oh no, I don't think he's disrespected by it. He's going to feel disrespected because he didn't get the money that he wanted. But I think you have to look at the Clippers have to look at it from a business standpoint. And what does Paul George say if someone asks him like, well, Paul George, listen, you've been known not to play a full season. What do you say about that? I want to hear him say, his rebuttal on that, or his answer to that, without question. So I don't think they disrespect him. I just think they were looking at it long term because that's a lot of money and a lot of time to be invested in a guy who's proven not to be available. So he'll probably feel disrespected. All players who don't get the money that they feel like they deserve are always going to feel that way. But I don't think the Clippers disrespected him by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, I'm a little back and forth on this. Because when we think of Paul George, we think of the old Indiana days, right? And then you like, well, wait a minute. He wasn't like that with the Clippers. You were hurt majority of the time with the Clippers. So it's just like I understand why the Clippers offered you that 2-year, $60 million deal. Like you said, K-Walk, you weren't available, you weren't around. And then I know, he might sit there and think about, well, you gave it to Kawhi. Kawhi got a ring. Kawhi got 2 rings, actually. I think he got 2 or 3 between the Spurs and Toronto, which God knows I wish he never got that one. But anyway,
shot still falling. That shot still hitting the rim.
Hey, Walk, I was just liking you again. Don't make me not to like you again. You know that hurts, hits me hard.
That's the story of my life, Brett. That's the story of my life.
I don't, that hits me hard. But no, so I'm like Kawhi, although he's always hurt, he's more proven than Paul George is. And I know there's been years with Paul George averaged 28 points per game. I think that was his last year in OKC before he left to go to the Clippers. But I like Paul George. I like his game. I don't think he should have felt disrespected. I felt like he should have understood his situation. But again, you got to leverage his situation. I think that's what he did. And it worked out for him. But Jay, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I agree with your last statement. It worked out for him, but no, I don't think he was disrespected at all. I mean, you guys outlined it, a long history of injuries, right? He's 34 years old. He plays maybe 60% of the games in a season. And at the end of the day, he was in LA for several years. And what did it do? Like, what did it bring the Clippers? They didn't win anything. So at some point it's like, are you going to deliver or, so no, I don't think it's disrespectful at all. I think they got to look at it as business. I think they might, I don't know what Kawhi's contract situation is, but they might need to take a hard look at that too, because I mean, he doesn't play either. So, I mean, at some point, you got to move on from some of these aging superstars that in their minds, they think they're what they used to be, but clearly they're not. So, hey, at the end of the day, it worked out for both. I think the Clippers are happy he's gone. And I think Paul George in Philly, we'll see if that can, we'll see how that goes. And he got his money. What did he get? 212 million. So he got his money.
212. And Mike, you're absolutely right. I was thinking the same thing. Go ahead, guys. Go ahead.
Yeah, he's more available than Kawhi, but then I think at that point in time, because I think Kawhi got his extension in January, I believe. I believe somewhere in that range. His resume. I think this is when resume steps into play. Kawhi never plays.
And honestly, I mean, and Mikey's right, but being more available than Kawhi is not really something you can handle. Yeah. Everybody is more available than Kawhi. So I mean,
yeah, we'll see. It's going to be interesting for the Clippers because although I think Paul George could step his game up, I hope he does with the Sixers because now you're on my team. Although to me, I think he'll fall back into that maybe 3 role, 2-3 role, something like that. Dang guys, I just literally lost my train of thought. Here we go. But the Clippers, I do think they lost a major piece, and they lost them for nothing. So
Yeah.
it kind of, and you had a sign and trade deal with the Warriors, like you could have got something, but you got literally nothing. And then you go right behind him and sign James Harden to a 2-year, $70 million deal. I don't know how that's going to work out. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on that.
They got Derrick Jones Jr.
Yeah, but they also got James Harden. You know, James Harden's not going to give him the ball till about 8 seconds left in the shot clock.
Slob City again, man. Slob City again, baby.
By the spring, they'll be irrelevant. Like, I mean, it's
Slob City. Who's going to go up and get it? Kawhi? Derrick Jones Jr.?
Derrick Jones Jr., man. That's the whom logo stick right there, man.
I doubt that. I doubt that. Anyway, guys, come on, Tony. Really? Joel Embiid was big tempering during the NBA finals. So they all temper.
Yeah.
We needed somebody.
I agree with that. That interview, he gave Paul George a side eye when he was like, I'm with you on that one, Tony.
All right, let's move on because I know this was just quick. I got to get to this next topic because, like we said, it's the Olympics. It's Olympic time. Our guys and girls, I should say, are going over to Paris very, very soon. But tomorrow, I believe, is the first expedition or prelim game, whatever you want to call it, for Men's USA. It's tomorrow. And I want to know who is your starting 5. So before we go, in case you're not sure, I do have the roster here, right here. So out of these people, who is your starting 5? I do not believe they announced the starting 5 yet for the men's USA national team. Who's your starting 5? Jay, I'm going to come to you first.
Yeah, so I think in a situation like this, it's definitely okay to not necessarily have a starting 5 that fits traditional positions, right? Because you're going to be playing teams from all over the world. And I don't know that positions is really going to matter as much. But so I'm going to start LeBron at the 1. I think LeBron kind of facilitating the offense would be great. I'm going to have Steph as my other guard in there. So I got LeBron and Steph. And then I think Ant-Man. I want to start Ant. I know there's some talk about whether or not he should start or not, but I think Anthony Edwards needs to be in that lineup. So I'm going to start Ant. I'm going to start KD. And then to have a big man in the middle, I'm going to have Joel Embiid in the middle. So LeBron and Steph, KD and Ant-Man, and then Joel Embiid in the middle. So that would be my 5 to kick things off.
Interesting. Okay. All right. So no Drew Holiday for defense. No. Kawhi Leonard, I guess he's too hurt for you. No, he won't be available.
No Kawhi.
But K-Walk, who's your starting 5?
Hey, that's my starting 5. Just replay Jay's back. That's my starting 5. But Jay may put him in different positions. But I had at point guard, I had Steph Curry at point guard. At the 2, I have Anthony Edwards, Ant-Man. At the small forward, I got KD. At the power, I put LeBron at the power forward, and I put Joel Embiid as my center. I think that's the route you go. I think you mentioned defense. I think you don't have to worry about defense to start the game. You just got to worry about defense to end the game. So it's not necessarily how you start, it's how you finish. So you can bring Drew and those guys who actually want to play defense and somewhat can play defense. Right. But I'm going to go. I'm agree with Jay. Steph, Ant-Man, KD, LeBron, and Joel Embiid.
K-Walk, I think that was a little shot, by the way. I just realized that.
It was. I'm glad you picked that up. I'm glad you picked that up. I'm glad you picked that up.
It took me a minute to get it. I was like, well, hold up. Was that a little shot? I got you.
Dang, I thought Britt was quicker than that.
No, I think I'm with you guys on this one. Look, I like AD, and I know Mikey here put AD there. Same thing with Kawhi. Is he going to be available as well? He's always hurt also. So will he be available? But no, I just think Joel's game is going to be better suited for this lineup. I feel like
had 2 big men there. I'm sorry. thinking
Wait,
out
you said
loud.
two
Sorry.
big men.
Yeah, you got
Oh, he
Embiid and
got
AD.
Embiid and AD. I'm
And
sorry,
AD.
my
Yeah,
bad,
yeah.
Mikey. I didn't
Mhm.
see that. So who the heck did he take out?
He took
He took
Ant-Man
out
out.
Ant-Man out.
Oh, he
Yeah,
Yeah.
took
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man out.
Yeah.
Hmm. Now he got me thinking. I don't know if is that gonna work because you got AD, KD, and
I
B.
wouldn't do
They're
it.
all
Not too
big
big
as
enough.
heck. That's crowding.
Especially
That's a lot of crowding in that post.
especially
But you
with
can
two
stretch
guys
it
who
out.
always hurt too. So you don't
Right.
want to put them
Curry
both
handles
together.
the ball. Yeah, I don't know, but I think I like Jay's lineup as well. But I'm with you, K Walk. I think I'm gonna just switch the point to Steph because I think he can handle the ball well. Ant-Man, I think I'll put at the 2, and then LeBron, he's tall, he's big enough. I'll put him at the 3. I mean, we'll see what happens. This is gonna be an interesting situation. I know they have a tough situation to figure this out in camp to see who meshes better with who. I seen some of the highlights. They all playing pretty darn well in my opinion. But K Walk, I'm surprised you ain't put Bam in there. That's your guy.
Nah, I love Bam, but I'm a realist. Come on now, Britt. Don't. I love my guy, but where am I gonna put him over?
My final question with this is: will they win gold? I mean, they won gold. Did they win gold last time? I believe they won gold the last time.
I
But they're
think
not
so.
like the women's side. You know, the women's has won gold for so many consecutive years. Like they're just unbeatable. The USA men's, they tend to get beat, and the playing field's getting a little bit more even when you look around the I guess the globe, I should say. I wanted to
Yeah.
say the country, but the globe, I should say. Especially with that French team. They got Wemby and Rudy Gobert. My goodness. So do you think they'll win gold? Anybody could take it.
I think it's tough, Britt, because one of the things that I think a lot of people don't realize is a lot of these other teams are actual teams that play together all the time. And they're not just coming together with a collection of talent and trying to figure it out in a couple weeks and then going and playing. So I think from that standpoint, they're at a little bit of a disadvantage. But I mean, when you look at this roster and the talent that from top to bottom, if they don't win gold, it's going to be a travesty, Britt. So I do think they come home with gold. I just don't think it might not be as easy as maybe some people think it's going to be. But
Mhm.
I do think they will win gold. But they're going to be in some tough games. I don't think there's any question about that.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I go
if
ahead,
they play
okay, well,
anyway, I'm sorry, Britt. If they play
nope,
anyway
go
like
ahead.
they did against the team select, I think what AD had to block a last second shot or something like that to close out that game. And I mean, if they continue to play like that, they're going to be in trouble. They may come out with the bronze or maybe the silver. But like Jay said, I think Jay mentioned it exactly what I was going to say is that they can't take any games off. They just can't go in there thinking that these teams are going to roll over for them just because they're Steph Curry,
Right.
LeBron James, KD, and all those guys that we mentioned. So yeah, they got to come and play, and I think guys like Bam Adebayo and guys like Anthony Edwards are going to demand accountability. Go out there and close it out because these guys
Right.
are competitors. I think they're the most competitive
Mhm.
guys out there. I'm not saying the other guys aren't competitive. I just think you're going to see these two guys are, in my opinion, the most competitive out there. Kawhi, just sit down and be quiet. I don't want to hear him. We probably won't hear him anyway, but but yeah, I think they really have to bring their A game without
Mhm.
question in order to bring home the gold.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous. Jay, I think you hit it right on the nose. The chemistry. How's the chemistry with this team? The guys overseas, they've been playing together for a very, very long time. And yes, Wemby may be over here over the course of the season, but a lot of guys he's been playing with or he's playing with for the Olympics, he has already probably been playing with prior to him coming to the NBA. So some of these guys very familiar with each other's game. They fit well. And then our game, back in the day when we were way more physical than everyone, that's not the way of the NBA anymore. It's more this finesse type of league that now matches that European style type of basketball game. So the Olympics is all those other countries are right on par with us now. So I am kind of happy that we did add Embiid. Hopefully he's healthy. That's the biggest thing. Hopefully he is healthy. He could play up to his full capabilities. But this is not going to be no easy run through to get to the goal. I'm going to say yes to the gold. I'm just not 100% sure about that. Definitely, they're going to at least get a silver. But of course, we want the gold, of course. But Tony, before we go to the next question, Tony said something, and I want to bring this to attention. They should have let Bronny on the team.
He's an alternate, I think.
They should have let Bronny on the team. Interesting. I don't know. Based off that first summer league, and we'll talk about that later. I don't know if he'll make it. Quick question. Tyrese Halliburton. I know we pissed Steph at the 1, but he's a playmaker. He's a playmaker, long arms, could play defense somewhat, I guess. Yes, K-Walk, that's why I said somewhat. I didn't say he could play good defense. I looked at your face. Would you consider putting him in that starting point guard position, or is it no, he has to come off the bench? Anybody could take it.
I wouldn't. I just think Steph has earned it. You know, Halliburton. I mean, yeah, I like his game too, Britt. I think he's proven himself to be a very good player, but I think that the shooting, the consistent shooting that Steph provides is just something. I mean, and Halliburton's a good shooter too, but I mean, we're talking about the greatest shooter that ever lived. So for me, I don't think so, Britt. And I also think maybe just some of the chemistry between Steph and KD and even LeBron. I just feel like that's probably the best way to start the game out. And like K-Walk mentioned earlier, you got a bunch of guys that you can bring in off the bench if things aren't going well or guys aren't playing well together.
K-Walk, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree there. I mean, because when you look at it, you know, it's again, my age old saying is it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And I think that with, you know, Pop and those guys are going to realize, you know, depending on how the game is going, they're going to do that mismatch thing. They're going to see, all right, who's our best defender? All right, who's our best, you know, shot blocker? You know, who's their hot guy? Who can we put on him? Can we do a box and one type deal? You know, I think it's going to go with the flow of the game. But I think that once you start the game, you go with the big name guys, and I think these are the big name guys right here that we Jay and I mentioned as far as the start. I think you agreed to it as well, Britt, but. I think that you go with those guys to start it off to see how it goes. And then, you know, by the end, you know, third quarter, first half, second half, whatever it goes, you know, that's when you just, you know, mix and match for the most part. And sometimes the guys who close are more valuable than guys who start, in my opinion.
Right. No, I'm with you guys. It was just a thought that came into my head because I do like his playmaking abilities. He is a little turnover prone for me. But I love his playmaking abilities. I do think he is a decent shooter. He got a weird shot though. I don't know if it's just me, but his shot just
it looks different. It definitely looks different.
Right. But like you said, K-Walk, it goes in. But I think you guys are right. I think Steph earned it. That pure shooting, that if you need a shot, Steph is right there to bail you out if you need him to, goes right along with everybody else. Final question with the USA men's, because this has been a big ordeal recently. For whatever reason, this has been a major ordeal. Joel Embiid choosing the USA over France, basically. I heard people say Cameroon. I didn't even know they had an Olympic team. Maybe they do. Excuse me, but I did not know they had an Olympic team. But it seems like it's been a big deal for people right here in the States, not even for people who live over in France, but right here in the States. They think that, not everybody, but some think that he should have played for France, should have played for Cameroon. Again, I didn't know they had an Olympic team, and not for us. How do you feel about that? Anybody could take it.
Go ahead,
Walk. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say Cameroon. I didn't know they had one. I mean, had a team there. So, yeah, I can see why if they do have a team, I can see why he chose U.S. over them. But as far as France go, you know, whoever is upset about him not choosing France over over the U.S. should be happy because he goes there. It's might be over for the U.S. You know, to be honest, when you look at the stats line, it might be over. But no, I don't have a problem with it, man. I mean, I'm glad he decided to. I mean, he has that ability to do it. He has that choice. Obviously, dual citizenship, that type deal, whatever, you know, however that works. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad he's deciding to who's going to want to. Maybe it's a French person that said that. I don't know if you know somebody personally who said that, Britt. Yeah. But I don't understand why you would get mad that he chose U.S. over France. But I'm all for it though.
Yeah,
it's been going crazy and rampant on Twitter. Why did he choose us and this, that, and the third? I don't get it.
Oh,
I'm
why
not
did he
sure
choose
if
us? Wow.
right. I'm not
Okay.
sure why people even think this way. I mean,
Well,
Joel Embiid has been here since he was about 16 years old. I think he went to high school here, played here for a very, very long time. His family's here. His son was born here. I know his son is a U.S. citizen. He said it countless times that he wants to play where his son is a citizen at, where he's also a citizen at. He lives here now. And I just don't know why people feel the need to take authority over something that technically wasn't originally none of ours. If you think about it, then maybe none of us should be playing for Team USA. So to me, it just makes no sense. He has every right to play here. He pays his taxes. He pays income, property taxes, whatever else he needs to pay. And why would you want this man 7 foot, 280 pounds with his ability to play for any other country?
Yeah.
I don't want to go against that.
With Wembyamba.
Right. Like I just don't want to go against that. And to me, that's out of his mind. Tony in the comments said he played for Kansas. He did play for Kansas, but he also played high school ball here as well. But Jay, what's your thoughts on this?
No, I agree. I mean, it's just people being like, it's kind of on brand for just how people are today, right? Just always interjecting their thoughts into things that don't concern them. Like, why would you care where he plays? It's his choice. He can play where he wants to play. So I don't understand it, Britt. I mean, if he's got dual citizenship and has the choice to play in either country, it's his decision. I mean, I don't really care. I would have cared a lot more had he chose France. Then maybe we'd have.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't know why people care.
If he chose France and he's healthy enough to play to his full capabilities, I'm not sure if I'm picking the USA to win the gold. That's what I'll tell you right here, right now.
Happy he chose USA.
But because he chose us and a couple other players, and he's also not the first non-born U.S. citizen to play for the U.S. Olympics.
Right. It's happening.
Yeah, and I get the part too, Britt, that you mentioned about his son, right? Like if he's saying, I want to play for the country that my son was born, like that makes total sense. So
right.
Hey, Britt, can you do me a favor? I just want to add one bonus question to this. Can you do me a favor? Can you bring up the roster again? Can you just pose that up for us real quick? I just want to ask this question. Jay, I'll start with you. This comes down to we're down 1. And we need a shot to be made. Who takes this shot?
Now
Jay, I'll come to you.
That's a heck of a question. Man, down 1, need a game winner. For me, it really comes down to 2 people. I'm either going KD or Steph. I think those are going to be my best bet. So if I gotta pick one, K-Walk, I think I'm going Steph, man. I've seen KD miss too many game winners. I'm going Steph, man. If we need one shot at the end of the game, give the ball to Steph and let's see what he can do.
Britt, what say you?
I mean, the obvious choice, I guess, would be Steph, right? I mean, he's the best pure shooter in the on the roster to me. So that's the obvious choice. But if I want to go outside the box, I'm not trying to be biased, so don't think I'm biased, y'all. Don't think I'm biased. But I might go with Joel to give you something, an easy bucket in a post, can do his footwork, play them little tricks that he always gets somebody, fake somebody left, go right. I wouldn't mind if Joel got that last shot as long as it's in the post and he goes up strong. But I mean, the ultimate player that most people, that even including myself, will say is going to be Steph Curry. No doubt about it.
All right. Hey, Britt, I gotta agree with you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll go with Joel Embiid. I'll get the ball down low, get him in the right spot because he can hit it on all 3 levels. He can the 3, he can hit the mid range, and he can take it down low. So I'm going to agree with you here, Britt. I'm going to go with Joel Embiid as well.
Well, sorry, Britt. Sorry.
No,
the commenters agree with me. They got Steph. But they got Britt drinking on the job now. So I do love that.
Okay, I guess I am.
Yo, Tony, I'm about to have a problem with you now. I'm not drinking on a job. Yes, I'm taking Joel over D-Book any day. I just think Joel is the more not instant bucket, I should say, that more high percentage bucket, I should say. He's
Yeah,
right
I was
there in the
going with. I was
post.
going with that too.
And he's going to be stronger than anybody else in that post. So D-Book, he's going to have to shoot it. Is he as consistent as Steph Curry shooting the ball? I know he got 70. Joel also got 70. So I don't know about that one. So let's see.
Tony's a funny dude.
He is. I'm drinking. Maybe I need a drink the next time. Okay, Walk, final thoughts? You like you was about to say
I'm
something.
done. No. I was just waiting for you. I was going to turn it back over to you. I'm sorry.
All right, guys, we got to move on. So we'll get back to the basketball talk. I know Jay segment during the second half of the show, he has more basketball talk as well. But we have to talk about football. The training camp is literally 2 weeks away. 2 weeks away from today, I believe most NFL training camps start. And yes, me, K-Walk, Jay, if you're new to our show, we go in when it goes to NFL, when it comes to NFL all the time. K-Walk has to be like a naive person and think the 49ers is going to win it this year. I'm just playing.
No naive there. Ain't no naive there, bro. I'm trying to tell you. I ain't trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you.
I'm sorry. Yeah. K-Walk, I'm gonna say you're not naive, but you know.
I can't.
Jay's the delusional one thinking the Cowboys one is even going to get past the first round. And I'm the more level-headed one. Not sure about the Eagles, but I think they have a chance. They beat.
So she can't even keep a straight face when she said that. She couldn't even keep.
But no, I want to talk about the NFC East teams right now. I want to know who you think has the best team. But let's just go through each team real quick. Just give me your overall thoughts on each team. And I think every week maybe we'll go to each division, or I'll probably select a certain division to go over. But first team we got to start with, because they the ones that are talking, or it came out that the GM was saying some stuff on Hard Knocks, and you already know who I'm talking about, and that's the New York Giants. What are your thoughts on this daggone team?
Go ahead,
Jay.
First. Oh, me? Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, Britt, I think my thoughts on the Giants are they're going to be in the basement of this division. It just feels like a lot of turmoil. I feel like they put some of their eggs into the wrong basket, getting behind Daniel Jones. Like, is this really the guy that you feel like can lead you somewhere special? I don't think so. Obviously, they let Saquon Barkley walk out the door, number one, but then to go to a division rival, number two, even compounds that and makes it look even worse. So I just don't think they have the talent to get it done, Britt, and I don't think that organization is run with any real high level execution. So for me, this is a team that's a non-factor.
Yeah, I like what they did on the defensive side of the ball when they went and got Brian Burns from the Panthers, I believe. I think he'll go great with what's the guy's I forgot how to say his name. The other pastor, Thibodeau. Thank you. My goodness. Y'all know I'm not good with names. But Thibodeau, I'm just not sure about the Giants. I'm with you, Jay. They went and got Neighbors as the receiving core, but there's not much else. You let go of Saquon Barkley because you decided that Danny Dimes was your Danny's so-called dimes. Those dimes have been missing, but because you felt like maybe this is his year, this is his time. But if you think about it, Saquon was basically that offense, and it's been that offense. Any success that they really got was because Saquon was there. Now you eliminate that. The offensive line is not that great. I like Brian Daboll as the head coach. I do think he's a good head coach, but I just think they have a long way to go. And I have him also at the bottom of my rankings. I have him after the Commanders, or I should say after the Cowboys, since Tony's in the comments talking some stuff here. But K-Walk.
No, I you know what? I'm not down on this team as much as everybody else is, because of the fact that I know you got rid of you didn't get rid of, you just didn't sign Saquon Barkley, but I don't like the reasons why they didn't sign him, because of the fact that I know everyone heard. Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it, Tony. Where was I going with this? Oh, Saquon, we know running backs, have a certain shelf life. After the age of
Mhm.
28, that's usually the shelf life. I know Saquon, is probably a different animal. Last year he was what, probably 80% of that offense, 75 to 80% of that offense. And I get it, but when you have a franchise quarterback, their franchise, I'm not saying a franchise quarterback, their franchise quarterback, you always got to go with that before you go with the running back.
Mhm.
But what they should have done, and they should have gotten something for him. They should have traded him. That was a no brainer. Just to hear them to sit down in that conversation, have all of those guys who's supposed to be, these gurus to go around the room and hear what they said made absolutely no sense to let him just walk. Just let him just walk. No, you may not want to give him the money, but trade him to somebody who's willing to give him the money because they're going to do that, before the trade, and you could have got something back for it, and then you could control where he went as well. Not to, like Jay mentioned, not to a division rival, to the Eagles of all people. I mean, maybe to the Commanders, I could understand that, but not to the Eagles or to the
Right.
Cowboys. That made zero sense to me. But yeah, I think they'll be a lot better. I don't think they'll finish at the top. I think they'll finish third. I think they will finish, and this is because the Commanders are not as bad as everybody thinks they're going to
Yep.
be, in my
Mm-mm.
opinion. But I'll put them right there. I think they'll be fighting with the Commanders, to stay out of the basement of this division. But I don't like what Dable and those guys did with Saquon Barkley. Can they overcome it? We'll see. Because we know Saquon has he's another player that has issue with injuries as well. So we'll see
Mhm.
that. We'll see that because they used him a lot last year. They used him a lot, meaning the Giants, and I just hope that doesn't carry over to the Eagles. But I think that the Eagles will be smarter the way they use Saquon than the Eagles did. But I think the Giants overall, I think they'll be fighting to stay out of the basement with the Commanders.
Yeah, they in my mind they are in the basement right now. They got
Okay.
to show me a lot more. Again, I like the pass rushers that they got.
Yeah,
Um,
defense is going to be
I
something.
think Dexter Lawrence is still there, right? Um,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
still in the
that
middle, so
defense.
that defensive line is going to be nice.
Hmm.
But what else do you have? I have no faith in Danny Jones whatsoever. All right, guys, let's move on to the next team. And that's the Washington Commanders. Give me your overall thoughts on the Washington Commanders. We all know they drafted Jaden Daniels. They picked up some veteran players, and they also hired Dan Quinn to be their head coach. Jay, I'm gonna come to you first on this one.
Yeah, the word I think of with the Commanders, Britt, is much improved. I think
Hmm.
I think Dan Quinn is going to instantly make them better on defense. I know I think they were like 4-13 last year, so obviously they weren't a very good team. But I think to K Walk's point, I think they're better than people think they are. I think they have
Hmm.
more talent than people think they do. And to me, it almost feels like one of those teams that if they just make a few tweaks and get some things in order, that they can actually be maybe a close to 500 football team.
Right.
So I think they're going to be much improved. I don't really think they have a chance to win the division or anything like that, but I think they'll be much improved under Dan Quinn.
Yeah, I put them above the Giants because of the veterans. A lot of the veterans that they went
Yeah.
out to and signed. They got my guy, which I kind of can't stand that he went to the Commanders, but I understand it. In Zach Ertz, I know he's getting older, but just that veteran leadership is important. They went out and got Bobby Wagner for the defensive side to be the linebacker. Um, they still got Terry McLaurin, which I think is a
Ooh,
very talented wide
yes,
receiver, and he always
yes.
kills us a lot of times, which I can't stand. I don't know why the Eagles struggle with the Commanders, but we just do. I'm hoping it's different this year. I think they still got Jonathan Allen on that defensive line, and I like Jaden Daniels. I really do. I actually liked him better than I like Caleb Williams coming out of college. That's just me, guys. I just felt like he was a little bit more pro ready than Caleb Williams. But again, that's just me. I've seen some things that I like from him as far as that quarterback position. And I kind of feel like Caleb Williams, I mean, I feel like he leaned on, I think, Lincoln Riley a lot. So I don't know if Lincoln Riley's in the Bears, but we'll see how that goes. But I think they got enough to improve, like you said, Jay, but to the third spot. I'm only putting them in the
Yeah.
third spot.
Yeah.
Okay, what was your thoughts on the Commanders?
Yeah, I agree with you. Just looking at their roster right now, and I forgot they picked up Austin Eckler as well, and that's a guy. Yeah, that's a guy who's a dual threat guy. You know, he can play every down, and he's a third down back without question. And you have the young man. I forget his name. That he was shot, but he came back. Robinson, I think his name's Robinson.
Yeah.
I think that's his name. Yeah, he came back. I mean, he toast the rock really well. And then you got
Mhm.
Jaden Daniels, and then you see they picked up Marcus Mariota as well. Britt, you mentioned Zach Ertz, Bobby Wagner. These are some veterans that can help these young guys out as well. Now,
Mhm.
Can Dan Quinn become this? Because we've seen Dan Quinn's, we've seen his movie, and it's not a bad movie. It's just
Right.
a lot of because he did get to the Falcons to a Super Bowl.
Right.
So we'll see how he does with this. But yeah, I just why I mentioned earlier, like I think that the Commanders are going to be a lot better than a lot of people think. Maybe they can pull a trade off with the 49ers and get Brandon Ayuk there with Jaden Daniels, and that will just really, make them very interested if they get a receiver like that. Hey, Britt, I'm okay with it.
God
I'm okay.
dang, K, well, you just
I'm
giving up
okay
on
with it.
Brandon Ayuk, aren't you?
I'm just saying,
That's
I'm gonna
my
let them know. Like, listen, no leverage, Brett. You gotta let them know. Like, you gotta know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away. So that's what it is. Look, we're good either way or without. We would love to have them, but we're okay without them. But that's a story for another day. And they picked up Luke Wagner as well. I mean Luke McCaffrey.
Mhm.
Excuse me, Luke
Yeah,
McCaffrey. They picked up
Christian
as well. The
McCaffrey's younger brother.
freshman. Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
So they're going to have a very exciting team, and they picked up one executives from the 49ers as well. So they're trending in the right direction. This is why I said earlier that they're going to be they're going to be fighting to stay out of the basement with
Right.
the Giants without question.
Yeah. Real quick, this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but Tony said y'all need to give up on Debo and keep BA.
Oh,
We're
No,
gonna say
you,
we're gonna hold
don't
this
do
to
that.
the next week. Okay,
Yeah,
well,
let's definitely
'cause
put two pins in this one. Put two pins in it. 'Cause I
I
got
was gonna pick
serious.
this for next
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, I got put two pins in that because I got serious thoughts about that one. But let's go, Brett. Continue.
All right.
Before I get started, hurry up.
I mean, no, we could take a break. Could say what you got to
No,
say.
no,
okay.
no,
Well,
no, no. We got
well,
no,
I,
we got no. It's too long. You know me. I'm
Too
too
long for
long
the
winded.
we'll put,
I'm too
all right, we're
long
gonna
winded.
save it.
I'm too
Definitely
long
gonna
winded.
write this one down for next
Yeah,
week. Because me and
please.
K Walk probably gonna go at it next week as well. When it comes to this situation. But next
Uh,
team, you know what? I'll be humble about it. I have my team go next. I'll be humble about it. I have my team go next. The Philadelphia Eagles. Give me your thoughts on them. What's your raw thoughts for the season going in? K Walk, I'm gonna come to you first.
Yeah, I mean, you know what, Britt, they added some pieces. They picked out the obviously Saquon Barkley, as we talked about. That's going to alleviate some of that pressure off of Jalen Hurts and those guys. Please
Mhm.
do, Tony. Appreciate you, brother. Uh, yeah, they're going to alleviate. That's going to alleviate a lot of pressure for Jalen Hurts and that passing attack as well. I know they
Mhm.
signed AJ Brown and Devontae Smith to extensions. That don't make them better. It just makes them more solidified for down the road. And then you got that defense as well. I wonder how much they're going to miss Hassan Reddick. I know they traded him to over to the Jets. They brought in
Mhm.
again, 2 seasons. Two out of the last 3 seasons, they got two different coordinators, offense and
Right.
defensive coordinator. I know they brought Vic Fangio in, and they brought who was that? What's his name? From the Cowboys. It was the Cowboys, right? The offensive coordinator.
um,
Kellen
yeah,
Moore, Kellen Moore,
Kellen
Kellen Moore,
Moore,
Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore. Yeah.
Kellen Moore, yeah. Yeah, so you got to see
Mhm.
how soon they adjust to those two defenses. I think I
Mhm.
have more confidence in Vic Fangio than I do in Kellen Moore, to be honest with you. But we'll see how it goes. But you wonder what actually took place last season with the Eagles. What's the common denominator
Right.
coming back, if there's any? Because we saw them will start 10-1, I think it was, and then they lost I don't know how many games in a row, and lost to the Bucks in the wild card game.
6.
Six, was it six? Okay, I didn't
They
wasn't sure. I
fell
thought I
off
was
a
going to say
cliff.
five. Right.
It
I know.
was
I don't know
6.
what
They
happened
fell
in
off,
there, and that's
they
why
fell off
you
a
got to
cliff.
ask yourself,
Mhm.
what's the difference between that between that stretch and this year? Because
Mhm.
I know you got you only brought in Saquon Barkley. I know you got other pieces as well, got new offense. I mean, you got new coordinators as well. But my main concern with this Eagles team is that common denominator which is the head coach, Sirianni. So I don't know if he was the one that lost the locker room last season or not, but we'll see how that plays off. I think they start off with the Packers. Am I right? They open up with the Packers.
Yep.
So we're going to see how that one goes because they have high expectations as well, meaning the Packers team. So it's going to be very interesting. They're going to be under the microscope for this Eagles team. But if they come out and play like they're supposed to play on paper, they should be on top in this division.
Right. Jay, you want to go first? Or you want me to take it?
Yeah, I'll go, Britt. I actually have them second in the division. I don't think
behind
talent.
who?
Wait
a minute.
I don't think talent is their issue. I think adding Saquon, assuming he stays healthy, I think that's going to obviously add some dimensions to their offense that'll be difficult to defend. I'm kind of with K Walk. I just have a question mark when I think about this team because obviously offensive and defensive coordinators, how quickly can they kind of get that together? And even a bigger question mark for me is to your point, K-Walk, I don't trust the head coach. I know they caught lightning in a bottle when they went to the Super Bowl and he was maybe looking better than maybe he actually is. But I just feel like, I don't know if immature is the right word, but I just don't think he carries himself and kind of conducts himself in a way that a head coach should that's trying to lead a locker room. So I think he's got some things to figure out as well. Talent-wise, I think they're as good as anyone, but can it all come together is the question mark for me. If it does, they're going to be really, really good. If it doesn't, who knows what this team's going to look like. And that's why I have them second, because I'm just not sure about them.
I'm curious to know who the heck you got first. It can't be them
we'll talk about
Cowboys. But
we'll talk about it in a minute.
Oh boy. But anyway, no. I was excited about the Saquon addition. I like that addition. I think he'll relieve some pressure off of Jalen Hurts. He'll provide a little bit more protection, a little bit more pass protection than a Miles Sanders. And I was a huge Miles Sanders fan. My concern is, and I know we have a different coordinator. I'm going to say a better coordinator than what we just had. The previous coordinator and Brian Johnson, no disrespect to him, but he couldn't understand how to handle a basic blitz, something that you learn in elementary school. You know, that's what the Pee-wee football, they understand how to counter a blitz action, and they just couldn't figure it out for some odd reason. It made no sense to me. I think Kellen Moore is a little bit more experienced. I'm curious to see how he's going to perform as a coordinator. I know how we feel about him with his years with the Chargers and the Cowboys. I do know that Dak Prescott did have one of his best years under Kellen Moore, so I'm kind of hanging on to that. But the offense, as talent-wise, like you said, to me, is incredible. I know we lost Jason Kelce, but I think Cam Jurgens is going to be able to step right in. He's a little bit bigger. He's just as athletic. It may take a little bit of time for them to gel because, you know, you've been with Jason Kelce for so many years. The defensive side, I might be a little bit more concerned for the defensive side, although I do have a lot more trust in Vic Fangio. They're still young, you know. James Bradbury, I'm hoping he gets traded because he looked bad last year. He looked very, very bad. I don't know if that's something Vic Fangio can salvage with him. But there's a lot of young corners. They having a huge competition in corners. I've been following them a lot in the offseason with Isaiah Rodgers and Kenyon Mitchell and Cooper Kupp, which they might put in the slot. And then they brought back C.J. Gardner-Johnson, which gave us back that tough-minded mentality. That's what we needed. We needed somebody with that dog, not going to take no crap mentality. But I'm excited. The biggest thing is Jalen Hurts. Where's Jalen Hurts in this? I'm with you, K-Walk. I can't stand Nick Sirianni from left to right. I don't like him whatsoever. And I think if he's not careful, if all of a sudden they're performing well, but you know, the coach is just doing okay, I wouldn't be surprised if Kellen Moore, with however we feel about him, ends up trying to take that head coaching position. I think that's why they hired Kellen Moore, believe it or not. I think they threatened Nick Sirianni.
Is it him or who has the assistant head coach? Is it him or Vic Fangio? I would think Vic Fangio would have the assistant head coach there.
So Kellen Moore is running the entire offense. Vic Fangio is running the defense. Kellen Moore is running the offense.
Yeah, but which one of them? Because usually one of them has the assistant head coach.
I don't think neither one of them has the assistant head coach title. Wow. I don't think they have an assistant head coach title over there. They might. I haven't heard of it. And if they do, it might be Kellen Moore. But I think they have Vic Fangio just running the entire defense. But I don't trust Nick Sirianni. We'll see what happens. You got a lot of talent. If you fell to me, you should be at the top of your division this year. But again, we'll see what happens. I know I could go on and on and on about my Philadelphia Eagles. But I'm excited. I got them at number 1 this year. But Jay, I guess we got to talk about your whack Cowgirls for real. My goodness. I'm assuming this is who you put at number 1. But what's your overall thoughts on no. You know what, Jay? Yeah, you go first. In case I need to rebuttal you. You go first.
Yeah, it's Jamel Singleton. I'm sorry.
Jamel Singleton is the running backs coach, is the assistant head coach.
Yeah.
But no, Britt, I mean, my thing with the Cowboys is they didn't really make a lot of moves, as we've kind of joked about before. So they're kind of bringing the same squad back. But I think it's a talented roster. I think it's a good roster. I think you got a very good quarterback in place, excellent receivers in place. You have pass rushers, which you need to be successful in the NFL on the defense side of football, and consistency. So I think the Cowboys are going to be fine. Cowboys have won a lot of regular season games. So I don't see why there's any reason to think that they're not going to continue to win in the regular season. Now, when we get to the playoffs, let's see what happens. But if we're saying who's going to win the division, I like the Cowboys to win the division. I really do. Who won it last year? Did the Eagles hold on, or did the Cowboys end up winning it last year?
He got jokes, but then you came and lost to the Packers. So
but you guys lost as well.
Because
the Cowboys,
we lost. It wasn't because you were that good and you won.
No, I'm just saying the Cowboys did win the division last year, right?
They did.
So what I'm saying,
so
me having them repeat as division champs isn't like I'm saying something that's like unheard of or crazy. I mean, we are talking about last year's division winner, right? Right?
Jay, how you gonna pay them?
We got a team.
You don't even know who you're gonna pay.
We're okay with the roster.
Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb.
We're bringing back the same roster. Same guys that won the division last year are still on the roster.
It's funny how you think you won. In reality, Eagles completely folded and lost and gave it to you.
That's another way to look at it. If you want to take it,
then fine.
We're gonna take it.
It
doesn't say. I mean,
they're stuff given to you. See, a real team takes it.
They're the division champs. I mean, you can say the Eagles lost it, but
the 49ers last year, they played the Eagles. They took it. They came back and said, "We taking this from them."
Britt, that's semantics. When we go back and look at the record books, it's going to say that the Cowboys won the division. It's not going to say the Eagles lost the division. The Cowboys won the division.
I'll give you that. You won a division. If that's the type of congratulations that you want, then sure, take it. But anyway,
I'm not looking for congratulations. I'm just telling you what happened.
My thoughts on the Cowgirls, I guess you could say. K-Walk, you stupid as heck. But no, for real. Mike McCarthy, I don't trust Mike McCarthy. Like, let's be real. I don't trust Mike McCarthy whatsoever. Every time they get into, we already know what the Cowboys are going to do in the regular season. They'll have this hyped up regular season win, 11 and something, 12 and something, get to the playoffs, and then in the very first round, they'll get booted out by some. Actually, I like the Packers, so I can't knock the Packers. But in previous years, they'll get booted out by some bum team. So, yeah, they don't like I said, they can't even figure out who they're going to pay first. CeeDee Lamb's already talking about he's not going to training camp. Michael Parsons, have not heard from him. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, although they don't have to pay him this year. And Dak Prescott, what are you going to do with Dak Prescott? It's interesting. Yes, you do have talent. I will give you that, but it never can click when it's time to show up and show out, which is playoff time. The Cowboys do what they always do, and we all know what that is. And it ain't winning a playoff game. Dak Prescott has 2 playoff victories over the course of his entire career. What has been in the league for 9 years? 9 years. I think it's time for Dak Prescott to show up. So in that case, they are absolutely not at the top of the division. K-Walk, any final thoughts on this?
I thought we were just talking about who was going to win the division. I didn't think we were talking about the playoffs.
Yeah,
we was doing NFC preview. We ain't saying nothing about the division. We saying NFC preview. And you out your mind if you think the Cowboys are going to win, huh?
They won it last year.
NFC East. All right, yeah. You know what?
Yeah, NFC East preview. Go ahead, K-Walk.
All right, so with the Cowboys, man, I mean, you're right, Jay. They will be consistent. They're consistent. They are consistent, Britt.
and losing.
Whatever they do, whatever you call consistency, they're going to continue to do what they've been doing. But no, I mean, when you look at this team again, as I was breaking down the Eagles there, I said that they were going to be in a dogfight with for the number one spot, and I mean, obviously breaking down the Commanders and the Giants. That leaves the Cowboys there. I mean, the Cowboys, I think that they're in a position, to win it again. They are in a position to win it again because we don't know what the Eagles are going to do. We don't know what the situation with Sirianni is there. That's the biggest question mark. There's question marks with these top two teams right now, and I'm saying Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles, no particular order. Let's put them in an alphabetical order. That's the only order I'm going with right here. But when you look at these guys, Jay and Britt. You look at Dak. We talked about Dak. Who are they going to pay him? Because right now, if you don't pay him right now, then he's gone. He's not going to be there because you can't franchise tag him according to the contract, and you can't trade him. So you either pay him now or chances are you'll probably lose him. And then you got CeeDee Lamb who wants to be paid, and you got Micah Parsons.
Right.
You got the players, but do these guys want to be there under their current contracts? And as you know, Jay, Brandon Ayuk, it could be a distraction when you have a valuable guy there, one of those guys that you rely on to get you not only to the division title and to make a deep playoff run, but to the Super Bowl. But you have multiple guys. You have Dak, you have Micah, and you have CD. Then it doesn't matter what they look like on paper. If they're not there, it's just not going to happen for them. But right now, let's say the Cowboys are all in, the CD's all in, Dak's all in, Michael's all in. I see this. I have to take the Cowboys here. The reason why, Britt, because I don't know what we're going to get from Sirianni. I don't know how these guys are going to respond from Sirianni. I don't think these guys go back. You know what? Let me change this a little bit. I'm going to go with the Eagles here. I'm going to go with the Eagles because I'm going to say here, look, Jalen Hurts is not going to allow this to happen back-to-back seasons. If it was Sirianni's fault, they're going to see that. Front office is going to see that, and the guys are going to see that, and they're going to nip it in the bud before it's too late. So I'm going to take the Eagles, and by one game. Comes down to the last game of the season, and the Eagles win the NFC East division right now.
I think that's what's putting me really the Eagles above. Well, I think the Cowboys are going to do what they always do. Like I always said, they're going to eventually cowboy it out. We all know what that is. But I think with the leaders on this team and the fact that AJ Brown, he's not playing this year. They went and got CJ Gardner-Johnson. We know what type of player he is, regardless of talent level, and I think he's a very talented player. But this is mentality. Jalen Hurts, he's been in the lab, he's working hard, and we've seen him consistently improve outside the tail end of last year. I just think it was a major miscommunication somewhere, somehow, between the players, the coordinators, and it was just scrambled up. I don't think they're going to allow this to happen this second straight year. And that's why they made the moves that they made in this offseason. I was surprised. So, but we'll see what happens. It's going to be very interesting. Once again, I took way over time. My bad, Jay. Way over time on my segment. But Jay, any final thoughts? I feel like you want to get one cowboy joke or something in.
No, I think I'm good. I think we all agree, honestly. We all have it highly competitive. We all have it close. I got the Cowboys winning it. You guys have the Eagles winning it, but within a game or two. So it's going to be highly competitive and very close. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Jay, and we haven't had back-to-back NFC, champions, in quite some time. So that's why I'm going to go there too as well.
In a very long time. But all right, guys, you guys got a little bit of NFL preview. This is how we are when the NFL season comes around. And we'll continue this on until the beginning of the season, and we'll get, of course, into the games. But we got to go into break. When we come back, Jay's going to take over. We got more basketball that we have to discuss, the WNBA, summer league stuff, and a few other topics, of course. But please, Jay, looks like you got a comment or something there.
No, I was just running through them, but you're good. Keep going.
Okay. But we're going to head into break real quick. Please do not go anywhere. Please subscribe to our channel at The Sideline Speaks. We would greatly appreciate it. We are slowly but surely growing. If you could please share, we will also greatly appreciate it as well. We're also on Twitter, aka X, at The Sideline Speaks, and anywhere you could get your podcast. You are watching The Sideline Speaks with myself, Brittany Jones, alongside Jason Collins and Kevin Walker. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Right.
Hello, this is Marvin Lewis, and you're watching The Sideline Speaks with Brittany Jones, Jason Collins, and Kevin Walker. They're taking a break, and they will be right back.
All right, welcome back to the Sideline Speaks. Brittany Jones, Kevin Walker, and Jason Collins. Let's get back into some basketball talk, guys. Bronny James made his debut in the Summer League, the California Classic, this week. And I just kind of want to get your thoughts. We know Bronny is going to be a guy that's highly scrutinized, over-evaluated, right? Every single thing he does is going to be under the microscope. But just in terms of how he looked on the basketball floor, what did you see? And just your overall thoughts on how Bronny looked in his debut. Britt, what'd you think of Bronny?
Oh, look, I'm gonna give the kid credit. I know some people like he's 19, 18 years old, don't call him a kid, whatever. But in my mind, he's still a kid. So I'm gonna give him credit for being willing to go out there. If I have to be 100% honest, guys, I just think he should be in college. He should have stayed in college. I like the fact when I was watching him in that first half, he was being a little assertive with looking for his shot. I know he went 1 for 6 in the first half, I believe 2 for 7 in the entire game, which is not good whatsoever. But you got to give him credit for looking for his shot in the first half. I didn't like the fact that defensively he looked lost in that very first half. It bothered me a little bit because that's what you should be known. That's what you're known for. I don't know if it was the first NBA Summer League game jitters. Maybe he just was a little nervous out there. Second half, he settled down a little bit. He stepped up a little bit when it came to the defensive side of the ball. Got some pass deflection, so I did like that as well. But his shot, his assertiveness, his aggressiveness on the offensive side of the ball just wasn't there anymore. It just wasn't there. I don't know how to really critique his game, but so much because I don't think it's there yet. Like, I just don't think it's there. There are certain things that you could find. You could say, okay, he has potential. But then in that case, I think any and everybody will have potential, right?
Yeah.
I think he has a decent form shooting. His form is pretty decent. Like I said, I think he can play some defense. I just feel like he should have gave himself time. I don't know what the rush was. I guess the rush was for LeBron to play with his son. I'm not exactly sure. But if it was up to me and I was his parent, which I'm not, play another year or two in college, really develop your skills, get your skill set together. And then when you go out there in the summer league, become a dog. To me, he just had that dog mentality. And again, it could have been a first game, but then the next game he's out due to a knee injury. And I feel like that was more of a cover up to protect him versus him really being hurt. But that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, Britt, I'm with you. Like, coming into it, I wanted to see, like, before the game, I was thinking, I just want to see Bronny like make an impact. He always talks about playing the game the right way and all this stuff. And he does. Like, he's going to make the right pass. He's going to do the right thing. And that's all well and good. But you don't want to be invisible on the basketball court. So I wanted to just see if he could make some kind of impact, some kind of impression on the game. And to your point, Britt, I was surprised that early he was kind of looking for his shot. Now he came up short on some jumpers and things like that, but I did like the fact that he was looking for his shot. And you're right, it's the first summer league game, so can we say, well, let's see what he looks like 2, 3, 4 games into this thing? But the other side of this is, most of the guys playing summer league, unless you're a guy that was a high draft pick, these aren't even really NBA players. These aren't guys that are going to be on NBA rosters come season. So it's like you're playing against fringe NBA players at best. I would have liked to maybe see him be a little bit more assertive, make a little bit more of an impact. And you're right, the knee injury, it just looks suspect. Like, maybe he really is hurt. I'm not going to say that he's not, but I don't know, like, get out there and play. Like, so I don't know. I think overall I was just little disappointed because I wanted to see him make an impact and sort of show that he belonged, and that didn't happen in his first outing. But K-Walk, what do you think? Oh man,
Bronny James Sillin is standout role player for community college. God dang.
Wow, good gracious. That's rough. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you guys there. When you look at Bronny James, man, and you want to hear from him, but you hear more from LeBron than you hear from Bronny about what really is going on with him. According to Bronny, LeBron, Bronny doesn't really give a bleep, according to LeBron. But when you look at him play, and it's no different. I mean, I was looking for him being more aggressive, more going to the basket, more being, I don't want to say being LeBron-esque, but being more aggressive. You don't have to go there, you're not 6'9", you're not 6'8", we get that, but just try to get to the basket and try to create your own shot. He doesn't do that. He doesn't play defense either. And and if you don't have it, you just don't have it. It's not something. And Bronny James is not in a position where he can just say, okay, I'm gonna take this possession off, or take this possession off, or and then I'll go at this next possession. He doesn't do that. All eyes are going to be on him. All eyes are going to be on him. We know that. We get that. Bronny has to get that. And if he doesn't have that dog, as we like to say, we like to use that term over and over again. If you don't have that dog in you, you just don't have that dog in you. And Bronny doesn't show any signs of having that in him. The scapegoat is, like you mentioned, Britt, you alluded to it. I was going to bring that up, but I think we all were, because that was big news. He's taken out, or he's held back out of his second game because of the fact of the matter is he has a knee injury. But you missed me with that, Jay. Yeah, you got to go out there and get that.
You got to play.
Because you got it, and especially Bronny, when he's got a lot to prove, because there's a lot of people, including myself, that don't believe he should be there right now. A lot of people, don't believe he should be there. And Jay, you mentioned too, the competition is not that great, and you're going to see higher competition, and better competition if you are, given that, promotion, if you will. So yeah, I'm not buying it. I think there's some, it may be a mental thing. I don't know how they're handling Bronny, meaning LeBron and the Lakers. I don't know how they want to handle Bronny, but he's got to go out there and show that he wants to be in the league, and he should be in the league.
Yeah, I just feel like
go ahead, Britt. Go ahead.
I just feel like this was his opportunity to show everybody, what, and it's not necessarily a stick it to you, but more of a like, yo, I play this game. I'm a good player, and he ain't do none of that. He didn't. I just felt like he folded. I feel like he folded on this like a Ben Simmons type of situation. Now I'm not gonna put him in that category, because y'all know how I feel about Ben. I'm not gonna put him that bad in that category.
Yeah, no.
I just felt like he could have had the opportunity to just show us something, and he just didn't give it to us.
Yeah, I agree. And I was just kind of watching his body language, and even the way like he was walking off the court at halftime and stuff like that. It almost felt like he was just viewing himself differently. And I get it. I get why he would, but at the same time, you're the 55th pick. You're on the last seat on the bench. Like, go out there and prove something. Show me something. And for everything that LeBron has done right, like in the media and in his career and all the stuff that he's done right, I feel like he's really handled this Bronny. I don't think he's handled this well. Like, I remember when he made that comment, like that Bronny was like better than 80% of the guys in the
NBA. Years ago. Yeah.
Now, remember when he made that comment? And now when we're actually looking at it and we're like, what were you even talking about? Clearly, that was just rhetoric. So I don't know. But K-Walk, do you feel like some of the media scrutiny, some of the coverage on Bronny is unfair, or do you feel like that it's kind of right where it needs to be?
No, it's warranted, Jay. It's definitely warranted because of everything you just laid out with LeBron, how he handled it, how he laid it out a few seasons ago. I remember him that comment saying that, a few years ago saying that. And now LeBron is getting his chance. You mentioned 55, the 55th pick now. A lot of people say he shouldn't be here. $8 million guaranteed, and now you have and Britt just mentioned it earlier. Is that was your opportunity? Like Eminem said, you have one opportunity. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? And he just didn't live up to it, man. I don't care. And now they're going to call it a knee injury. This is the reason why he didn't play well, because of his knee. All right. Well, then once your knee, gets better, I need to see more aggressive. I need to see more shots. I'm not necessarily more points, but I just need to see a different attitude,
Right.
more aggressiveness going to the basket and on defense, being that Drew Holiday. I'm pointing at Britt, ladies and gentlemen. Drew Holiday, if you will, like or esque, if you will. But yeah, I definitely
He
need
ain't
to
show none of
see.
that.
I mean, I don't know what we call it, man. I don't know what you call that that we saw, but yeah, I think when he comes back and he's cleared and he's healthy, I think we have to see a more aggressive LeBron James. I mean, excuse me, Bronny James, and on both ends of the court.
Yeah.
It's like, go ahead, Kip.
No, go ahead, Britt.
I'm done.
I was going to say, it's like, you tried to give him, because you guys already know how I felt. We talked about this, I think, last week or a couple weeks ago, where I said I didn't even think he was warranted to get drafted. And right now he's proven what I'm trying to say. And it's not trying to be mean towards him, because I don't know him personally. He seems like a good kid. I'm not sure about, I don't know him. But as far as your skill set, like your skill set is just not ready for that. I felt like there were a bunch of other players that was behind you that did not get drafted that should have had their name called. Granted, it's nice to have your name called, it's a dream come true, but I feel like Clutch Sports and LeBron James and whoever, they took that opportunity from somebody else that was more well deserving of them. However I look at saying that, I'm just speaking my truth and what it is. But Barney, he's not ready for this. He's not ready for this. He should have took another year or two in college, maybe transfer. I don't think USC was the best program to really develop your skills. I'm not a huge USC fan when it comes to basketball programs anyway. Find one of those, one of the better coaches that's willing to take you on. I mean, like you use your dad to get into the NBA, right? Use him to go to, I don't know, UConn, or wanted to, get coached under one of the top tier coaches with a great training staff or development staff. But I just think this not it. And the whole knee injury, that's Clutch Sports doing their best version of Olivia Pope from Scandal. Let's cover this up real quick. That's what that was.
I don't know if that cover up or not, but I never watched that show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to add real quick. But I know
you gotta watch it.
No, it's too late. It's too many seasons in right now. I don't have
enough
time in my life. But oh my God, thanks for making me lose my train of thought. Yeah, but with Bronny, go ahead, Jay. I forgot my train of thought. I lost my train of thought. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, I defended Bronny last week. I felt like I didn't care that he got drafted, but I just want to see him look the part. So whenever he plays again, like I don't even care if he doesn't shoot the ball well. Like you're gonna miss shots, but I just want to see him look the part. And like K-Walk, you had texted about one of the guys on the Miami Heat. I can't remember the kid's name that you were texting about the other day. But as soon as I turned the game on, I didn't even know that was him, but my eyes like went straight to that guy. Like that's an NBA player. And then come to find out it was the same guy. Is it Ware? Is that the kid's name? Ware that you were talking about. And he just jumped off the page, right? And I just want to see Bronny look the part. I want to see, like, when I turn on the game, even if someone that didn't even know who he was would say, oh yeah, that kid right there, that's an NBA player. And you just did not see that, at least in his first outing.
Go ahead. No, I was saying, I just remember my point because you mentioned like the coaching as far as USC goes. I don't think coaching is going to help Bronny at this point. I just think if you either have it or you don't. And I'm not saying he's that bad. I'm just saying you either have it or you don't. I mean, coaching helps. Don't get me wrong, but I think that he's. I don't think he has enough that even coaching is going to help him right now because we've seen guys that have raw talent, and if they were able to be coached, then they can take that next step. But I don't see that with Bronny. I don't think coaching is going to help Bronny.
I think right now in this situation, before we get to your question, Tim or Timothy, Tim or Timothy, right? So I think I just left my train of thought as well with the coaching.
Sorry about that. Contagious.
I think when we really think about it, like what was his ranking in high school? I don't even think he was ranked that high in high school.
I think he was a top 30
Was he top
player.
30?
Yeah, he was a top 30 guy. But again, you kind of almost have to take all that with a grain of salt. Like how
Right.
much of it was because he's really top 30, how much of it was because he's Bronny James. So
Right.
it's hard to say.
Yeah, but even in college, the games that he did play in, when we really think about it, we really pay attention to the games at USC. He kind of did a lot of the similar things. He kind of
Yeah.
fell back. He wasn't as assertive. Isaiah Collender, I don't know how to say his last name, was a dog for that team.
Yeah.
And he got drafted, rightly so. But this is not for Bronny, but this is his dream. And look, I'm willing to give him one more chance. I don't know. I'm being very nice. I'm being very nice.
One more
But-
chance.
Brittany, give me one more chance. Brittany, give me one more chance.
He need to come out. He need to come out next game and just be a pure dog. I don't care if you miss 1,001
Right.
shots. I just want to see what I guess your dad sees in you, because I don't see it. I don't see it. But Tim, your question: who do you think is better, Shaq's son or Bron's son? I think Sharif was way better.
Yes, for sure, without question.
Sharif, way more athletic, had much more ability. I think he was way better by far.
I think Marcus Jordan might have been better than Bron.
Oh man.
Oh my
So
god.
are we writing Bronny off already? Does anyone here think he's got a chance to be a decent NBA player? I'm gonna say I still think he has a chance to be a decent NBA player.
I think he has a chance to be the 15th man in a rotation on the bench.
Okay.
But Tony asked me, said, one more chance. How many times you got to see a car crash before you call it a car crash, Britt? I'm trying to be nice, Tony. All right, I'm trying to be.
She's
nice.
trying to see. She's trying to see who's at fault in this car crash.
Right. I'm trying to see who's at fault. I'm trying to see who's responsible for it first. You know,
Right.
Y'all was saying I was drinking too much. I was doing too much earlier, so I'm trying to take a step back. All right. Although I'm sitting here drinking water.
I was
All right, I'm trying to be nice.
K Walk, do you think he has a chance to be a decent NBA player?
All right, Jay. I'm gonna, like Britt said, I'm gonna go with Britt on this one, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna hold judgment here. I'm gonna let him get him one more opportunity here, man. But for what I've seen thus far, no, I just don't see it, Jay. I just don't see it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and if he's going to do it, his mentality is going to have to change.
Yeah.
Like, you can't come in and play like you're that veteran guy that just is going to play the game right and make the right pass. Like, you got to make an impact in the game. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully he plays.
Real quick, I don't think the Lakers did him any service as well, because they basically announced that the summer league was going to be Bronny's team. They was going to create the offense or create the team around Bronny, and I think that added a lot more pressure to him as well. I don't think that did any service. You got your top 10, probably should have been top 10 pick, although I don't think he played that great neither, and Dalton Connect, but you're highlighting or you putting the lights on Bronny, so they need to turn the lights off and switch it.
Yeah, and Connect was better in the second game. He played much better in the second game, but we'll see. All right, y'all, let's move on. Steph Curry was talking this week, and he said that he thinks that the Warriors might be the last dynasty of the NBA, just because I guess the way the league is going, the competition, that he doesn't think we're going to see another team win maybe 3 or 5 champions, like 3 in 5 years or something like that. So
please
elaborate.
What
do you guys think about that, K-Walk? Are the Warriors going to be the last dynasty that we see, or will we have a team at some point down the road win enough to be considered a dynasty?
Jay, I just don't see it. I mean, you look around the league, you can probably point at the Celtics. They've already been a dynasty, but they could be a dynasty again. They're Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Those guys are young enough. Their coach is young enough, and they have guys that are gravitating towards them that want to play with those guys. So I can see them possibly being a dynasty. other than that, just the way the league goes, when all these guys want to play
Mhm.
together and want to be the big three, the next big three, the real big three, whatever you want to call it, it's hard to say it's going to be a dynasty because these guys, as quickly as they come in, they go out and they want to
Right.
play with someone else. So it's hard to say that. So with that being said, I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes. I think we've seen the last of the dynasties, unless it changes in the next 5-10 years, which I don't see it going that way, the way that everything is trending right now. So I think we may have seen the last of the dynasties, to be perfectly honest with you. You got guys like the Miami Heat. I'm just using Miami Heat because they are sticking by their guns and building their team through the draft, and they're bringing a couple, free agents here or make some trades here to complement, what they're drafting. I think the Miami Heat has done a great job in the draft, and also the San Antonio Spurs is another team or organization that believe in their draft. So unless those two teams do it, I don't see it happening in the near
Yeah.
future, guys. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like just the constant movement of players
Yeah.
and no one really necessarily committing to being with an organization for a long period of time. I think it makes it a dynasty tough. But Britt, what do you think?
Um, I think Boston may have a chance. Um, I don't know if they'll be able to get it done either. I think right now they would probably be the closest team to possibly have a chance.
Yeah.
I think with the new CBA and how this new contract situation is with the second apron, first apron, second apron, the BYC mid, all this crazy stuff that I'm just trying to learn right now.
Mhm.
It's happened. It's putting a lot of pressure, I guess, on organizations to maybe have one or two stars and the rest might be good quality role players. So I think they're trying to make a more even playing field across the board. Um, where you have maybe two stars on each team and whatnot. So I think because of that, I think we kind of seen the last of the dynasty, but I think the closest thing will probably be Boston because I still think even going into next year, they're still a stacked team. I mean,
Yeah.
nobody's improvements in this offseason is still enough. And I know they just completely capped themselves out with all this dollars that they just put out there and they want to all of a sudden sell the team. Very interesting, by the way. They still got those players on there and they're still very young, like K-Walk said, very talented. They had the chemistry that to me the other teams just don't have. So the last team to me that will probably do it will be Boston. But outside of that, I might be with Steph. I think Golden State was the real last dynasty.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting because you're right. Like the league is getting better. There's a lot of good young talent coming into the league. And if they can spread it out and we've got a lot of parity, then I think you're right. Having a dynasty will be difficult.
Tim, quick question. You said, what do you think about Washington? We have not had a winning team like forever. Is that the Washington Commanders or the Washington
I think he's talking about
Wizards?
the
Same
Wizards.
difference.
And
What's the difference?
If it's if
I
it's
wouldn't hold your breath, my brother. I would not
right,
hold your
yeah,
breath.
no, the Wizards are the dumpster fire of the NBA. Like, you
That's the
go there
minor
to
league.
die now.
That's the
Um,
minor leagues right there of the NBA. That's where you go get the talent that
right,
that's
yeah, no,
developing right now.
yeah,
Yeah.
the Wizards, unfortunately, no, I don't think they have a chance in heck.
Yeah. All right, y'all. We started the show talking about the WNBA. Let's end the show talking about the WNBA. I want your starting five. If you were going to build a starting five with current only WNBA players, and I don't even care if you're super position specific because we know that the way people play now, you get your best players on the floor and in some sort of positions, but I don't really care. But give me your starting five. Okay, Walk, I'm gonna start with you because you said this was easy for you. Who you
Yeah, it
got?
was.
Who's your current WNBA starting five?
All right, I might have went with 2 point guards here, but I'm going to go with them nonetheless. At point guard. I'm going to start with Sabrina UNESCO from the New York Liberty. Got to
Yep.
go with her. She's three. I heard my nickname for her is Sabrina because she can knock down those threes without question. My shooting guard, she could also be put at the point guard, but I put her as shooting guard because the other night she hit 6 threes, and that's Kelsey Plum out of the Las Vegas Aces there. So I went with her there. At the small forward, I think if it wasn't for one player, and I'll talk about, she may be the MVP, but Breanna Stewart from my New York Liberty as well. So I have her at the small forward.
Yep.
At the power forward, I think I'm going to go with I'm going to go with Asia Wilson here. I mean, I think she's the best player in the game by far. I think she's running away with the MVP title. If there's another vote given to another player, I'm gonna be so upset. But nonetheless, I have her at my power forward, and at center, I'm gonna go with Brittany Griner. Brittany Griner. I mean, I know she's tapered off a little bit as far as name, but she's still playing some really
Still
good ball.
very effective.
I watched,
Yep.
yes, rebounding and scoring as well. So I'm going to go and put her at my center. So again, I got Sabrina Ionescu at my point guard. I got Kelsey Plum at my shooting guard. Breanna Stewart at my small forward. I got Asia Wilson at my power forward, and I got Brittany Griner at my center.
All right, that's good stuff, K Walk. We definitely have some overlap as we normally do. I got Kelsey Plum. I got her as my point guard, and she's been on a tear lately.
Yes.
She's been absolutely getting it done. So I got Kelsey Plum as one of my guards, and I got her teammate Jackie Young as my two guards.
Jackie's been balling.
Jackie Young she's underrated, man. Like she doesn't really get a lot of the headlines, but Jackie Young is a flat out baller. So I got two Vegas players in my
all Vegas. It's gonna be all Vegas.
I got Stewie just like you as my three.
Okay.
So I got Stewie in there as my three. My four, though, again, I'm going to somebody else who I think is underrated. She just got injured the other night, but Nafisa Collier has playing great. I know Asia's the consensus MVP, but if she wasn't, Nafisa might be number 2. So I got Nafisa at the 4, and then I'm going to play Asia Wilson at the 5, just to get all my best players on the 4. So I got Kelsey Plum, Jackie Young, Breanna Stewart, Nafisa Collier, and Asia. What's Asia Wilson? So
that's Wilson.
5 right there. Who you got, Britt?
This was tough. This was very hard. But I think a lot of ours overlap. We just go with the top players in the league. I'm just playing. At the 5, I start with the 1 as well. I think we all got the same one as the 1. Jay, who's your 1 again?
I had Kelsey Plum, but
Walk
had Sabrina.
All right. Y'all know I can't say her last name, so don't judge me. So I just say Sabrina. But I got Sabrina. Absolutely. I had to put a liberty on this person. And to me, Sabrina is one of the best guards in the league. The 2, I wasn't sure about, to be honest with you. I kept going back and forth between Kelsey Plum, Jewel Lloyd. I think Jewel, if I say her last name right, Jewel Lloyd is a beast. So I'm going to go with my first one, and that was Jewel Lloyd. I think she's a beast. I think they work well together. I don't know if we playing these people together, but 3, I got, golly, y'all help me with these names. Anessa Collier. Did I say that right?
Nafisa Collier.
Nafisa Collier.
Yeah.
Look, y'all know I'm not good with names. Nafisa Collier's. My bad, Nafisa. Nafisa Collier. I think she's a beast as well. She's been killing it. Absolutely. 4, I went with Breanna Stewart as well. I had to go with Stewie. And that was also hard because I like what's the vet? Alyssa Thomas, I believe is her name. Is the vet. So she was also on my list. Yeah. I just put her to the bench. And at 5, like, you can't help but go with the best player in the daggone WNBA. You have to play her. I don't care what position, 4 or 5, but you got to put her on the floor, and that's Asia Wilson. She's just dominating. She's unstoppable.
Yep. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. We're right up against it. Let's do who's balling real quick, and then we're going to wrap this show up. Every week, ladies and gentlemen, we want to shout out a team, a player, or coach, somebody who's just been getting it done, somebody who's been balling. K-Walk, I'll let you go first. Who you got, man? Who's balling?
Hey, man, I guess we talked about this ad nauseum, so let's keep it rolling. Let's just keep it rolling, guys. And I'm gonna go with my girl Angel Reese, man. Angel Reese is just absolutely balling. I don't know how much more I can say about what she's done. 13 straight double-doubles, WNBA record, 25 years now, has not been done by any other player. And we're talking about some dynamic players that ever played this game. Lisa Leslie, we got Maya Moore, we got Diana Taurasi. The list goes on and on. the list goes on and on. So yeah, absolutely. Angel Reese is just doing her thing. My leading candidate right now for Rookie of the Year in the WNBA. She has absolutely been. This is my left hand, ladies and gentlemen, balling. Because
Brick? No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
Right, for me, if I shot it, yeah, probably would.
She's been balling, no question. I'm gonna stay in the WNBA, but I'm gonna go Kelsey Plum. The last couple of games, man, Kelsey Plum has been absolutely on fire. K-Walk, you mentioned she hit 6 threes the other night. I think she had over 30 points. She's just been absolutely phenomenal. And when she's playing, man, the Aces are really tough to beat when she plays like that. So I got Kelsey Plum as my who's balling for sure. Mikey's not wrong. Cooper with them boys up. Cooper with them boys up, man.
Yeah.
But Britt, who you got? Who's balling?
Well, you guys kind of took mine. I had Angel Reese for sure. I had Angel Reese. So you know what? I'm gonna just cross it over. I'm gonna go to a completely different sport.
Oh, I love the way you did that. Cross it over.
Right, cross it over. Like how I did that, right? I'm gonna cross it over, go to a completely different different sport before it got banned. But I got two right now. I'm gonna just say both. I'm sorry, guys. So the first one, track, the Olympics is coming up. I gotta go with Sydney McLaughlin. Laverne, she has been killing it. She's breaking her own records. Like she's winning the gold in the 400-meter hurdles. She's absolutely winning the gold in the 400-meter hurdles. I don't care what anybody says. I actually wish she would have ran a 400-meter flat this year. She decided not to for whatever reason. So I was a little disappointed in that because I think she could have killed both records. So that's my first one. So she was, I guess I got to do this. I can't do this. I got to run my running stance. That's my first one. And then right now on my TV screen, actually, right behind me, right here, my Philadelphia Phillies is balling right now. They up 10-1 on the LA Dodgers. So any of you Dodgers fans out there, it's time to go home. It's time to go home.
Good stuff.
Right? They've been balling.
Our Phillies are balling. I love it. I
keep forgetting you playing the Phillies. I'm nervous now.
I mean, I grew up in South Jersey. I grew up loving the Phillies. That was my team.
Then how you come up? Never mind. Forget it.
We
same way where I came on my team. You know what I'm saying?
Jay, before we close out, because I know we get ready to close out, right?
Yeah.
I've been saving this for last because I'm curious what K-Walk has to say.
Okay.
It says 49ers are probably not winning. They are serial losers right now. Ditto Eagles.
Oh. K-Walk. Let Dominique know something. Let Dominique know something, K-Walk.
Dominique, is she drinking on the job? That's the question. Drinking on the job. You know what? Dominique, I can't argue with that. You know, in the last 3 Super Bowls, Super Bowls. We've been to, we've lost them one possession games, but we've been there, and I think we're over that hump right now. Barring any major injuries, knock on wood, we're due. But thank you for reaching out and putting that up there. And Dominique, you better stay tuned all season long. I'm going to ask you about her, Britt. Every time the 49ers do something great, I'm asking you about Dominique. Is she an Eagles fan? She an Eagles fan?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, because she said something about ditto Eagles.
Same for the Eagles, I think is what she was saying.
Oh, ditto Eagles.
Ditto Eagles. She was calling both of us. Yeah.
Go ahead, Dominique. Talk your stuff, Dominique.
Yeah. All right. I like it.
I'm taking mine. I'm holding mine back. I'm gonna save mine. I'm gonna save mine for when the season approaches. But we here with it.
Yeah, and more 49ers talk next week, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure you come back. You don't want to miss that. K-Walk, before we get out of here, man, real quick, let the people know where they can find you.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you can find me on Facebook, Kevin Walker, on Instagram, Kevin.Walker142, Twitter, Twix, whatever you want to call it, X, at Kevin Walker 142. You can catch me tomorrow night, Wednesday nights, 7 p.m. on Sports Talk with K Walk and E. Scott. Never Had It So Good Sports Radio, wherever you get your podcast, ladies and gentlemen, and wherever on my pages, on my social media pages, the link will be there. Please listen in live. You can call in. Got a great topic for you tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen. Jay, I invited you. Britt, you're invited. The question of the week is, are the Cowboys still America's team? If not, who is? Please join that talk tomorrow night. Please join that talk, ladies and gentlemen. We're expecting a lot of callers tomorrow night. Again, Sports Talk with K Walk, E. Scott, Never Had It So Good Sports Radio, wherever you get your podcast. And also, I'm in the building Thursday night at Barclays again. You know, Liberty and the Sky. Can't wait for that one. So I'm in the building there. So
yeah, that's gonna be a fun
Oh,
matchup.
that's
That's gonna be a
I
great
want to go
matchup.
so badly.
Yeah.
When is this any tickets left?
That's gonna be fun.
About to hop right on that Amtrak. When is any
Yeah.
tickets left?
That's gonna
Bring
be
it,
good.
Brett. I got you.
You guys can find me at Jason Talk Sports on all social media platforms at Jason Talk Sports. And K-Walk, I'll be on tomorrow night with you, man, so we could talk about the Cowboys and why they're still America's team. So I'm looking forward to that for sure. Britt, what you got for us?
Tag, I might have to skip out on what I gotta do tomorrow and just doing this because
that might be our whole show. We got a lot of topics, but that might be our whole show tomorrow.
I cannot allow Jay to come over on that show and defend that nonsense. You can't have it. All right,
you gotta do, Britt.
You guys can catch me on Instagram and Twitter, aka X at Brittany Monique. It's on my screen. I'm also on TikTok. Don't use it that often, so mainly IG and Instagram. And what I'm looking forward to, the rest of the WNBA season, the Olympics is fast approaching. I get so excited about that. Basketball track season is one of my favorite seasons. It's fun. And then I'm excited about baseball. The Phillies are playing well. I think we're trying to get back from being injured. It's almost Red October. I don't get excited really for baseball till Red October. Red October is my time.
All right. Good stuff, Britt. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you guys sticking around and listening to the show. Like Britt said earlier, do us a favor, hit that subscribe button, share it, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. We're trying to grow this channel. Any support you can give us, we definitely appreciate it. We'll be back here next week at 7 p.m. live. But guys, don't forget, check us out. Check out our channel throughout the week. We'll be posting some videos, posting some shorts. So engage with us throughout the week. And we'll be back here live next Tuesday at 7 p.m. So for Brittany Jones and Kevin Walker, I'm Jason Collins. We'll see you guys next week.
Whack behind cowgirls.